Oh, give us a second.
All right, go for it.
All right, Moon, if you're listening to this, where the fuck are you?
Answer your fucking pings,
I know,
dude.
right? Not entertained, man. You're online. I see you online, buddy.
Get the app. Do something.
Disappointed.
All right.
To be fair, he is on Idle, so who knows what.
I had some pretty. After watching the first part, I had some pretty nutty spots there. Some pretty bad ones too. There's some pretty insane.
Well,
yeah.
We'll be sure to tear you apart.
But anyway, so we wanted to start. So the goal today, we're going to start with Gibraltar. If we have time, we're going to do Oasis, which I think we will, because Gibraltar is pretty short since you guys made it to like halfway through point B and they didn't even make it to point A. So there's actually not a lot, and there's some like good and bad things. So we thought it'd be a good map to start with.
Pieces, add, ew, get that out of here.
Can we? Excuse me. Can we go to where I blocked the shadow real quick? Because that's awesome. No. Damn it! Come on. It was so cool. Even though.
All right. So can you pause for a second already? All right. So just to get started. Pores, I like that when they ask like what comp should we go with, you call Lucio and Ana. The only thing I would say, and I told Tex this, Lucio on Gibraltar is kind of weird. Like, it's not that he doesn't work, but you also have to be cognizant, like, looking at the comp that you have, and imagine how you're going to be playing, right? So you're going to be taking a lot of high ground, you're going to be diving, like, out of line of sight and stuff. Personally, I actually kind of prefer either Mercy or even Zen in this situation, because, like, Orb can follow you no matter where you go, and then Mercy can do the same. Whereas, like, Lucio's going to have a much harder time kind of, like, keeping up with you guys as you go, like, up and down from high ground to low ground. If you're gonna play Lucio, I think that's fine, because to your point, right, like, he is really good at peeling for the Ana, but, like, you also have to think about, like, all right, who's even gonna be on the Ana? Is she gonna need that much peeling? And then what does that mean for the rest of you? Like, when you need heals and Ana's, like, not in position to heal you, you have to know where your Lucio is so that you can go to him instead. So it's just kind of like, think about, like, how you guys want to play, the comp that you decide on, and what that means for what you're able to do once you start playing.
I'm on 30 frames, by the way. Sucks to be me. We gotta mute that. That sounds terrible. Thank you. That is a great swamp. Oh, I hate hearing the sound of my own voice.
How do you think
When I'm finished, it has to be me. That's what it sounds like. Wow.
Nice $30 emote, loser. Hey, it's 10. Shut up.
Nice $30 skins, loser. Ha.
Alright, you ready?
Oh, jeez.
We're just walking. The Sombras gotta initiate the hack. Let us know what's up, Kater. Can't be quiet the whole time.
I gotta do what?
So I'm glad you bring this up. That Kater should be that she should be hacking, she should be calling hacks. Eventually, you guys don't do that, and luckily, Lyris comes in and like nudges you, like, "Hey, follow up on these hacks," and it gets much better on defense. But at least you put in the effort to like reinforce the plan.
Yeah, just make sure that like you're thinking about it before the game starts. You got to make sure you remember it while you guys are doing stuff too.
And then on a related note, because we totally wrote down this tangent in the notes, you guys tend to clutter comms a little bit with like oh shit, or like, you know, like things like that, comments that you could do without, and it tends to clutter comms a little bit. Mm-hmm. Just kind of, you can clean it up. Yeah, and I think like for, you know, like obviously meme when you guys are in the mood for it, but also be aware that like once the gate opens, like stuff's gonna start happening really quickly. Something that I noticed, and like let me know, like correct me if I'm wrong, you know, but it does seem like there are several points where like I think like Tags will call a couple of things, but it sounds like he's not sure if it's useful or not. So I think like as a team, and I think like this will get easier too, like as you guys like learn together and play together more, but really figure out like what you plan on doing and what matters the most in that moment, so that people know what to look for and what to call out, and like what's critical and what isn't.
That happened on King's Row when Tegs was asking if he should Dragon Point. Mm-hmm. And he got like 3 different answers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think like stuff like that, like
That up.
think about it.
That comes down. Things like that too come down to a hierarchy of like who's going to be like the lead of the comms. And normally we had a lot of Elysian leading comms, right? Elysian isn't here.
Yeah. Actually, no, that's a really good point. I was talking about this yesterday too. So typically, obviously, if Elysian's like kind of the team shot caller, that's awesome. Like I think you guys were all expecting to listen to him, but like we said, he's not here today, and he's not going to be able to make it to every game, right? And that's just like realistically, that's what happens. So I think also for the team, figure out like who's your backup shot caller. If that person dies, who's the next backup? Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, like Pores needs to be calling certain things like engagements and targets and all that kind of stuff. And then maybe Moon's the backup. But if Moon's not available, like, think about what to do when your main shot caller isn't present, because what we don't want to happen is like your shot caller is gone and all of a sudden everyone's just like, I don't know what to do anymore. Like, how do I play this game? Right.
And we say that, but we really want to, well, say good job for you, Freddie, and you, Moon. Hopefully, if you listen to this and you aren't bailing on us, asshole. Both of you guys really stepped up and took control of comms, which Freddie, you should be doing more often because you're a main tank, but thank you very much for doing this. And then Moon, thank you for stepping in Elysian's place.
Yeah, and honestly, Freddie, like, really good job this week on comms. Like, I heard you call out a lot of things. Like, they weren't always correct, but the fact that you were calling them, I think, was really helpful and is, like, the stuff that you do need to be talking about. So, like, really good at stepping up on that.
Sorry, Jess is literally talking about the United States besides me.
One more tangent. Cater, you got to do something about your roommate when you're playing. Like,
I know that's tough. I know that's tough because she's like not involved, but like try to zone her out as much.
Zone her out, or just be serious with her and say, "Hey, I need this time right now. Can you please leave me alone?" Like,
try to slip
you gotta commit to us, you know. And Elysian, I know it was kind of like last minute with your parents, and like you're 17, you live with your parents. That's gonna happen. But can you like at least have them be aware that like I have things scheduled at this time? If they're insistent, they're insistent. No big deal. But
but it's just like you have something that's scheduled that impacts like 5 to 6 other people, or like 6 to 8, including the 2 of us. So yeah, like like as a matter of courtesy, like try to stay as focused as you can be.
You got it.
You're hacking, because that's when we're gonna die.
Okay. They're far left. They're far left back.
All the way back?
Blue box,
Yeah,
right?
they're back. They're back. Winston and Diva are sitting up top. That's it so far. They're all up top.
Actually, let's just go a little bit.
I'm going to grab.
Alright, so she comes back. Okay. So, Cater, you kind of scout out this area. You do a really good job of scouting this. But you immediately kind of loop back and just hang out with the team again when, like, there's still more stuff you can scout. You can scout back here and give us an idea of where, like, the supports are. You're literally invisible forever.
And there's no timer on that.
There's no timer. You're invisible forever. Like, go give us more info and tell, like, the team to hold off. They're not contesting cart. You can probably push this a little bit more while Cater gives you more information, and if they jump on you, then you can back out, and then like you'll have a realistic idea of where their normal setup is. As we're gonna get into with you, Freddie and Burger, kind of taking this area right here. Woo.
All right, so here's.
I'm gonna.
So Tegs dies there. There's a couple of things, right? So Burger and Freddy, like that box that Cool Pup just drew on the left side, you guys take that space. So Tegs, and feel free to step in, you guys, if we're like misrepresenting what you were thinking. So Tegs is thinking like, all right, we're engaging, like this is our space now. So he's trying to engage here, and you guys immediately back out. So he goes in thinking that you're still there, but you guys have already backed out. So then he gets caught out because he's like, oh fuck, I'm not actually with my team anymore. So what was your thought process? So from Tegs' side, and then from Pord's side, since Burger's not here.
Yeah, no, like, you pretty much nailed it. Like I saw that we were, all grouped, and I thought that was we were, taking that space and holding it. So my plan was to, I think I used shift to dash into the boxes just to like keep me kind of close to the team, and then I thought Burger and Forge were gonna jump in also. And then when I saw that they weren't there, I tried to reflect and dip out, but I died. So that was my thought process.
And I think what happened with the rest of the team is neither of the supports made it up there. And I want to say we called that out, said, supports are on the low ground. And I think everyone dropped down, but it wasn't well communicated. It wasn't well coordinated.
And Freddie?
Yeah, it was basically I saw supports on the ground. We were kind of waiting for like something to happen. I didn't see the space that was there, and I guess just like panic thinking, oh, let's push the payload and give my supports.
So actually, this ties back in with what I said initially, right? When you asked for Lucio, Anna, this exact reason right here, because you can't expect Lucio and Anna to make it up there with you, right? Like that's just not going to happen. So either A, you guys need to know what your Anna's sightlines are and play within it while you're on that high ground, right? Because that's space that you do need to take, and I think you guys knew that. You just weren't sure if you were able to stay there without your supports being with you. But realistically, that's space that you should be taking and holding regardless. And like if you had a Zen or an Anna or if you had a Mercy, that would be a lot easier. And like I said, that's kind of like, I think you're already seeing the impact of what I said initially, right? Which is like if you're playing Lucio and Anna, this is something that you need to be thoughtful of. And this is like kind of that piece that's like playing out where I think you guys are realizing like, oh wait, we can't do this thing that we thought we were able to do.
Another bit with this too is like taking this space is like kind of okay, but you kind of need to realize what you're gonna do with it, because they're sitting at this box right here. They could poke into you for free. Everyone else ends up jumping into this space too. They poke into you for free,
and then their supports are all the way back there where you can't get to them easily, right? And you guys felt this for sure. Like it was really obvious, I think, in the upcoming fights, and you guys realized what you needed to do to win. But like their supports are all the way in the back, which is like a really, really difficult dive from where you guys are. And then they also have kind of this like infinite sightline into that entire area, which is also why that corner is so incredibly strong for Anna and even Zen.
Yeah, but like it's fine. Like taking the high ground is a very good thing on this point. That's why this map is very dive oriented, just like the verticality of it.
Yeah.
But like when you take this space, you kind of need to realize you either need to like hug a wall to where you're like avoiding damage and waiting for your cooldowns, or you need to go up to boxes and like force them off of the boxes, or like have this space.
Yeah, or even I can see the mouse for a second.
Goodness.
Or even like if you guys, instead of jumping, so you guys jump down here, right? So like even if you just back around this corner and just like stay here when you need heals, and then you can keep just like going back up and coming back in, or like in that way it's a lot harder for the other team to take like this space, right? Because like you're down here, and it's a lot harder for them to stay like right on top of you without either getting dove themselves, because this is also like they're getting a little far from their supports, and there's this box in a way that kind of blocks the sightlines. So think about, it's like you use your movement abilities to get up on the high ground, and then you kind of give it up again for free, so you kind of wasted your cooldowns there, right? So like instead of doing that, think about like, all right, we want to keep this high ground. How do we do it safely and like without putting our team in danger, but still like stay up here so that we can at least stage the next portion? Because like the minute that you jump down, basically you're back to square one.
Yeah. And then it's like
I'm gonna grab their
you go
diva
a
in
little
a
bit
sec.
further into it too.
You ready for it?
No.
But like
Get the ones-
for them being on the high
Get
ground,
Get a diva,
they don't have to waste like cooldowns to initiate into you.
Move
They
out,
just
move out,
drop
move out, back
down.
up.
Diva's almost out of mech.
Diva's one.
Meanwhile, you wasted your cooldowns going up,
Now we're
then
at
back down, and then they
force.
still have like jump
Back
and
out.
everything.
Forward.
Coming.
You want more
So
top?
this was a good disengage, but in my opinion, it maybe took a little bit too long, because it's like Burger and Moon are poking forward, but they're not like the card's being contested, so they're not really like moving it forward at that point. You're waiting for respawns, like, either one of you really could have gotten picked there, and that would have been really bad for the next push, and you're kind of lucky that you didn't, because Dragon hits his shots, mostly. So just be careful about, like, poking while you're regrouping.
You set back up the blue boxes.
Bottom back.
Gosh, I don't have the mobility to chase you up there.
Yeah, stay with the Anno. Stay with the Anno.
Both their healers are up here. Should I? No.
Just keep pushing
It's
payload.
kind of the definition
They're not
of
here
saying,
for it.
and you blow a
Yeah,
cooldown to
Winston.
retreat too.
I gotta take him out of my hat. Ah!
Tracer. She's purple.
Watch out.
You'll have to, when we go over our one-on-one, we might, like, go through this too, Burger, but, like, you kind of just let the Tracer go through you and stick, I guess he sticks Freddy, and then Moon is just close enough to get blown up.
Yeah.
But, like, at this part of the fight where, like, everything's collapsing, you need to mitigate as much damage as possible. You just need to learn to, like, defense matrix your team more.
Well, you need to learn to defense matrix at the right times. So that's, like, really hard, but it's, like, you know that Tracer's back here, you know she's coming in. You should also know that Pulse Bomb builds pretty quickly and that she's, like, if you look at, let me circle those. Okay, if you look at this, that Pulse Bomb actually gets 2 people, right? Because here's Tugs. Freddy is the one that gets stuck. Moon dies to it. And then Cater's, I think, Cater, I think, is, like, over here. So she doesn't get hit by that, but she's getting poked down, so she can't really help the team, and she has nowhere to retreat to. So, like, that Pulse Bomb gets insane value because it gets a kill on a support. It takes your main tank down to 1, and then it also takes your Genji down to 1. So, like, imagine if you had eaten that. And the other thing is, like, so Panda on Tracer is going to look at this, realize that 3 of you are clumped together, and that's, like, or really 4 of you, because Burger's over here too, and realize that this is, like, he doesn't even have to, like, aim, right? Like, all he has to do is land a Pulse Bomb here, or, like, even if he doesn't stick someone's gonna get hit by it, because that's just where all of you are right now. So be mindful of that, and kind of, like, think about what a Tracer is gonna see as the opportunity, and what they're probably gonna try to do, and just, like, be aware. Like, it's, like, hard to explain any further than that, I think.
It's not that we just want to kind of say just eat the Pulse Bomb forehead, but, like, this is something you were very aware of, and I think you could have done a much better job here. At least putting in the effort, because, I mean, sometimes you'll just... If you defense matrix behind a Tracer, half the time she won't realize it, she'll just blindly, like, Pulse Bomb into your matrix anyway.
Yeah.
You'll be surprised how, like, defense matrixing behind people and they don't realize they're getting matrixed. You'll just eat so much random shit like that for free.
I'm stuck. Sorry, dude.
Why'd I do that?
I don't think I'm gonna be good for this because Winston's just gonna keep eating.
Going up top.
Alrighty, so...
I got a gigantic... And again, this might be... I want to say this is one-on-one material, but, like, this actually legit affects your entire team, Burger. When you lose mech...
On a map that has environmental death
just in general, too, you don't take advantage of any, like, possibility to just get your mech back as soon as possible. You always poke with Bunny Blaster. You're always trying to, like, just build your mech back normally.
I'm gonna hack the Genji.
When you could literally just go and kill yourself.
He can't
and you get to reset with your team. Like, Dragon's just respawning right now. You could have died, like, 5 seconds ago and spawned with him. Instead, your team is essentially going in, like, 5v6. 5.5 v6 will be nice.
5.5.
Alright, so I'll group up and I'll tell us when to push.
I mean, look, Bunny Bastard
Get
coming
let
on
me
damage.
get back.
We all here.
It does
Let me
a
poke,
surprising
let me
amount of
poke.
damage, but that said,
Alright, speed.
Yeah, it's not ideal.
Yeah. This is not your fault. Anyway, Burger, where, like, Burger goes up way too far and he's asking you to speed boost him out. That's definitely not your fault because he should not be in this situation in the first place.
Yep.
Burger, for the love of God.
Just kill yourself.
Kill yourself.
Like, okay, here's the thing, and here's the thing that you see on, like, pro matches too, is, like, you know, if you're on Anubis or a map where you can't kill yourself, you'll see people literally go back and spawn and just dump their
they'll dump
charge.
They'll contest a point where, like, they need to be, like, forced off of it. Like, get yourself into a situation where you either need to be forcibly removed because, like, you have to die.
Yeah.
They need to kill you, or, like, kill yourself, screw bomb. Bomb builds up kind of fast anyway. It's not like a game-changing ult. You could literally afford to get rid of it. It's no big deal. It literally isn't.
Yep.
Oh no.
Alright, get out, just get out. Everybody get out.
So let's look at the amount of time that's taken already. Alright, so now you're at 149. When you lose mech...
Alright, 88.
Yeah. So let's see. When you lose mech... These controls suck.
I think we just play.
Alright, so they're not here for it.
Left.
Listen.
I gotta take him out of my hat. Ah!
Tracer, she's purple.
Watch out. I'm stuck.
Around here.
Sorry, dude.
Why'd I do that?
32. 232.
I don't think I'm gonna.
Okay, so it's 232. And now it's 1...
Alright, 88.
It's 146.
That's literally an entire fight.
That's almost a minute that you literally just threw away for your team because you didn't have mech.
And they couldn't go in without it.
That's huge, dude.
Yeah. That's like 2 fights that you guys could have won and lost in that time.
Again, this is probably kind of one-on-one
It'll
material.
come up, yeah. It'll definitely come up on 1-on-1. But just like I think for everyone else too, it's like if you're ever flexing on Diva, or if you realize like someone like that Burger is out of mech, like remind him.
Yeah, just tell him, yo, kill yourself.
Swear to God, that's gonna be like an out of context quote.
Are
From
they gonna have learning?
Just get in the habit.
Habit of
That's the
killing.
nice way to say it. Get in the habit of getting your mech back faster.
Yeah, there are tools to get your mech back faster. Please utilize them.
Kill yourself, forehead.
Kill yourself, forehead. Alright, let's keep going.
3, 4, 5.
Let's go.
Alright, where are we diving up there? Alright, let's do it. Dive in 5. Well, 5.
I'm locking Phil.
I'm gonna have Tracer.
3.
Tracer hat.
Alright.
So, let's dive in and we're giving a countdown. What are we diving? What's our information? What do we know?
What's the plan?
What's the plan?
Get the, for me, it's just getting the supports off that high ground. Trying to get a kill at least.
Cool. Why is that not communicated with everyone? Why is that not, like, established?
Guess I'm just assuming.
Alright.
Alright, one other thing. Alright, so you guys have lost pretty much every fight. And it's almost, like, you're almost done, right? So you started with 4 minutes, you're down to 1.5 minutes. No one's tracking this, right? Like, you know they used Pulse Bomb once. She's almost got it back again. No one else has even popped their ults yet, I don't even think. Maybe Hatch has used the Primal, but I don't think they have. So they've been winning all these fights without ults. So that's not called. One other thing that, as this plays out, you'll see is, like, so then Tegs dives in, right, with his blade, trying to get the supports, which is great. That's a great dive. That's what you need to do. I think he's expecting Nano. He doesn't get it. And then also you have Cater at 80% to EMP, which actually, on that note, Cater, I know you're not here. I'm going to bully you a little bit, but you've taken almost the entire game to get your first EMP, and that's kind of a problem. I know it's, like, a little bit unfair because, like, obviously your team has been losing fights, but at the same time, like, your Sombra, you can be poking their backline for free. Like, you can be poking their backline, you can be poking their tanks. Like, you can be getting a lot of free poke out because you also have, like, a free out, right? For when you're doing that.
You have one of the best get out of jail free cards in Translocate.
Yeah.
And it's just like you build ult faster by harassing and poking. Like when you deal damage, that's how you build EMPs.
Yeah. So it's like you don't need to get a kill, right? But like even if you turn around and think about it this way too, like if you go up, you poke the Zen and Anna from like a far enough distance that you're not getting slept, you're not getting killed by them, and their team can't really like get to you. So like if you go all the way back around and poke from like this side of the catwalk, do you know what I'm talking about? Like the backside, on the point B half. Like, they have to turn around for you because they can't just ignore you, and then Anna's probably going to be blowing her cooldowns, like, she's going to try to sleep, and she's going to try to, anti-nade you to get you out. So you're forcing them, it's there, Anna. you're forcing Anna here to use her cooldowns, and you can just bail out whenever you feel like it. If you hack the Zen, then you know for sure that he has ult, right? So then Tegs will know like, oh, okay, I can't blade yet until we get rid of this. And then also you're building your own ult a lot faster, because like you don't have to get the kill on either of them, but you're turning them around, you're forcing them to deal with you, and then you're getting ult charge at the same time.
Hacking people yields information, especially when it comes to like ultimates.
And then also for the rest of you, when Cater is calling that someone's hacked, don't just like focus them. I mean, like focus them and try to kill them, right? But if there's a check mark over their head, it means that they have their ult. Like, you need to be tracking and keeping that information in mind, because that's like 100% accurate, right? Like that's like information that's coming directly from the game, so you should be taking advantage of that as well. Especially too when EMP goes out, because if it hits a lot of people, like you know pretty much who has ult on their entire team.
Tracer hacked.
2, 1, dive, go on him.
Tracer hacked.
I have ult when trans runs out.
Oh my, I dived right into that.
Oh, that's big.
D.Va hacked.
Alright, I almost have my ult for next fight.
Alright, so here's another bit. I'm sorry I'm picking on you, Burger, but I gotta say this. So you bomb there, it doesn't get anyone. You remech, your entire team has pretty much died, but you're backing yourself into a corner. Like,
you're staggering yourself.
yeah, so you remeched around here, you need to be getting the heck out right now. And you have this like easy out up on this high ground, or even back into the server room, where I think I'm pretty sure Cater's has this mega hacked, so they're not gonna really want to come in here because they can't win against you. But you've backed yourself into a corner where there's just a mini health pack, and their entire team is gonna be on you.
They're literally
So
all
this-
looking at you.
Yeah, so this is like another stagger that could have been avoided.
If they're all on that high ground, that's where we need to attack them.
Alright,
Going
so
up here.
You are infinitely lucky they just straight up kill you right there.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievably lucky they just straight up kill you.
they are definitely gonna have Tranquil.
I'm up high.
No, they
Genji
just
on-
Everybody
There's
on
two
the
trans.
everybody on the high
Oh,
ground.
there's 2 trans. Alright, so they got Genji and Anna.
I have.
Everybody-
Okay, actually, pause. All right, Cater, this is like probably where you should have been, like on that first push before you went back. Like you
Almost every push, almost the
think-
entire game.
I think you could have gotten all the way out there. And if you're not sure, it's like you can always translocate for movement first before you decide to set it down. So if you know they're holding back here and you just want to get on this mega, you can translocate your way so that you get here quickly without being seen really, and then put your translocator down and then come up and poke and just play around this mega here.
On the high ground.
I'm up by their healers.
Alright.
Everybody on the high ground.
I
I'm
can try
gonna
to get
dive
an ult against their
I'm
healers.
gonna dive across on the healers, okay?
Yep,
3,
alright.
2,
3, 2,
I'm low.
1. Boost.
So a big reason why that fight worked really well too. If I can back up a little bit. Guess what you guys eventually take? You guys take box. And you take this high ground where they have literally lived the entire game. It gives you such an easy way to jump across toward where the healers are. Like this you're not taking all this poke damage just hanging out down here.
And also the good thing is, and I don't think you guys saw this because like I don't know that you were in position to see it, but who's on D.Va on this? So Dong, who is on D.Va on the other game, literally just uses her boost to jump up here when you guys dive over. So there is literally no way for her to follow her across.
Only Winston can follow you back to the supports.
And he can't do anything because he doesn't have enough damage to deal with all of you at the same time. So that's like really well done. But that like those are the kinds of cooldowns and timings and openings that you guys look for, right? Because you know they're holding high ground. Eventually they're gonna drop. Eventually they have to go back up. So if you can bait out like their movement abilities, so like if you can bait Hash into jumping into you guys and then jump across yourselves, like that's a free dive, because none of them can follow you.
Like so.
Pretty much.
The high ground.
I can try to get an ult that grabs their
I'm
healers.
gonna dive across on the healers, okay?
Okay.
Three,
Alright.
two,
3, 2,
I'm low.
1. Boost, boost, boost.
I'm slept. You can win that, we won that.
Winston, get Winston.
Tracer in the back line.
We may. Okay, Winston using ult.
I got Ana.
I'm gonna ult.
Nice job.
Get the diva.
Boost him, Winston.
Diva's got diva
Can
buff.
I make a comment here? Okay.
What's up?
So, this is probably gonna be talked about in just a second, but so Ports, you're kind of on the Diva, and everybody else is on their Winston and Ana, or I guess that's Dragon's.
We
Ana over
were
here.
gonna bring that up too.
That is literally.
I was watching a VOD review. I think it was Jane doing it, and a good just kind of tip. Like I have trouble doing this too, but I mean, hindsight is 20/20 and everything. But just a good idea to get in the habit of doing is recognizing when you're split up, and then if like your whole team is split up, a good kind of call out that I learned was like stacking. So if you're playing goats, you can stack on the Rhine or the Brigitte, and you can just call that out, like stack on me or stack on Burger on Diva or something like that. Just to don't just yell group up in comms, because that's often going to lead to more chaos. But does that make sense?
Gotcha.
And I mean that can go for everybody too. It isn't just you. I just noticed that you're off like doing the Diva while I'm not going to say that again, but. Like Moon and Burger and everything, they're over with the whoever that was over there still. So
Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit more to the beginning of this fight too, where it's kind of like just the unfortunate timing of some ults, especially where like Nano hit tags while he was purple, so it didn't heal him. He ended up dying anyway, and the beat kind of came out a little bit late too. But like the EMP and the fact that you got everyone and then just left the tanks kind of helps you win the fight. But yeah, it was again like the EMP
Nice job.
preventing like the Diva from actually punishing you like you should have, Freddy. Like that's probably the reason why you lived.
Yeah,
Winston's
and it's
low.
also
I'm gonna shut his shield.
pause a bit. So it's also like I fully understand why you're on the Diva, right? Because you're thinking like if we demech her, then that's huge for the fight, and you're totally right. But at the same time, you also have to recognize like the cart's here, Hash is here, Diva's over here. So you're trying to push the cart. You have to get rid of this, right? Like this is something that you guys have to deal with. You don't really have a choice, and the best time to deal with that is when he's hacked and he has no resources. So like, not that the Winston v Winston is necessarily gonna like make or break the fight, but if you're over here, then maybe you kill this faster, and then everyone is with you on the Diva, right? So it's kind of like making sure that you're playing the objective, and that you're moving this forward, because that's ultimately what wins you the fight. Like what wins you the game, I should say, not the fight.
Gotcha. I'm low.
Got him.
Diva out of mech. Get Diva out of mech.
I have ults again.
Ulted.
Nice job.
Nice. Okay.
All right, back to you, Burger.
oh boy.
Please tell me this is a misclick. Please.
Let's watch it. Just let's play it out.
Let me
Sorry
heal you
about
up.
that.
Let me heal you up. Come back. Let me heal you up.
Yeah.
I think that happened on King's Road too, right?
It's happened.
Somebody did it, yeah.
It happened
Yeah.
multiple times through this scrim.
I think the ones on King's Row was like a misclick, and I think he said that it was a misclick. But like the reason that it's problematic there, not that it's like not going back to the BM thing, but like you need to be pushing up with your team. All right, like you just won a fight. Gibraltar is like Numbani, right? Like having high ground yields just such an advantage for your team. Like I can't begin to describe how much of an advantage it is. So like you sitting on cart, which is like fine, like someone needs to be sitting on cart. Really, in this case, that should probably be Moon. But like you have vertical mobility, you're diva, and you like eat up space. Like if you're on top of spaceship or whatever, it means that their tanks can't go there. It means that Hash can't go there, right? Because his diva just died. And like it is really, really important that you're paying attention to these things and that you're taking advantage of the time that you have. Because like I think I've said this before, but if I haven't, I'm gonna say it now. Like Overwatch is honestly, it's a game of seconds, right? So like when you kill someone, you have 10 seconds and the time that it takes for them to get back from the spawn to the point to do something about the rest of their team while the fight is unequal or even, depending on how many people you're down. But like you guys need to be aware that like when Lucio uses boost, that's 12 seconds that he can't heal or speed his team, like in addition to what he just normally does. Like if Anna uses sleep darts, that's like 12 seconds that she doesn't have it. Or like Bionade and like all these cooldowns, it's like the same, right? Like you need to know how long you have to do something about that hero when they're defenseless. And like respawns is exactly the same. Like you have 10 seconds and probably, I don't know, coming from C-spawn as diva is what, like another 5 to 10 seconds, maybe something like that?
Yeah.
Like, let's call it 5. Okay, let's be, like, really conservative and call it 5. You have 15 seconds to do something and maybe punish Hash when he doesn't have a diva to back him up. So, like, especially as a tank, like, you need to be cognizant of this. You need to be taking that forward position so that they can't take it. And then that means your Lucio just sits on the cart and gets free push because there's no one that's going to come and contest him. And this is actually almost immediately going to come up because you'll see that Panda gets up onto that high ledge over there and just chills there and does free damage. And while Tracer isn't great at that range, like him controlling the space gives him a lot of freedom that you guys could easily have denied if you were in position to do so.
Like he literally gets to just hang out behind you because he gets to like take advantage of this high ground and he gets to own it for free. Like, no one's, like, contesting it. No one's, like, occupying it. And you guys aren't even pushed up either to the point, like... Watch point B is very sloggy for, like, the first, like, 2/3 of it. Like, this area, up until you get past this turn right here, it's fucking hard.
So, like, if you can just keep them from even getting there, and you get all of that push for free, like, you can pretty much snowball this point. And that's kind of what happens, like, right? Like, teams that are able to take advantage of that high ground space and prevent the defending team from getting on it when they come back, like, you've probably seen this in your own games, but, like, whichever team is up there, typically speaking, is the team that wins.
Yeah. And not only that, too, like, the entranceways, like, the spawn is very close on point B, but they have to go through such, like, tiny, like, entranceways that, like, if you guys get up there pretty quickly and have, like, one person on cart, you can kind of pick out, like, what point they're coming out from and just take advantage of that. You'll probably get cart almost, like... You'll get cart almost a here for free.
Yeah, even with just one person on it.
A little. I'm gonna go up top.
There's some around... Oh, God.
I guess that's kind of on you, like, just having, like, hardware issues, but, like, really, Freddy? Kind of what we just told about Burger. You really need to, like, think about taking high ground or pushing forward. You're kind of just standing here. You're inviting them to come into you. Mm-hmm. You're just like, hey, you can have all of this for free.
And then also, you'll see this eventually, too, but, like, they're Anna and... So both DPS, they're Anna, and I think they're definitely the tanks, you know, obviously can get up there whenever they want. But, like... Eventually, their Anna's just hanging out in the shuttle. Like, imagine if the tanks were there. There's no way that she's going there.
She gets to, like...
And then she has to play a lot further back, which also defines how far forward her team can go, because her line of sight, like, from low ground or even from that back ledge is not nearly as good as it is from if she can just freely walk into shuttle.
There was somewhere on my mouse for a second. That was scary.
I didn't mean to do that. Oh my god!
Watch out.
Monkey?
Thank you.
Watch out. He's good. He's good, he's fine. The monkey's half. He went all the way back.
Tracer's in the back up top.
See, he just pokes for free back there.
Yep. And it's like, so Tegs burns the movement
Sorry,
ability
Kate.
to try to
You're
get
okay.
because he realizes that
Back
it's a
up, just
problem.
back up.
But then Tracer has more movement abilities.
We don't have the hack potential for this. I got Genji.
Tracer's let's in.
And now
Going out.
Winston's pushed you guys all the way back to the spawn. Because you guys got
Burn monkey. He'll charge.
Try to.
That's kind of unfortunate too. I hope you were trying to go back to spawn there, Burger, instead of going into the wall. But like, this goes back to the whole like you lose your mech, you're wasting time for your team thing. You get demech'd here,
Hide. Get all the
and
way back
it
to
literally
spawn.
just takes you forever.
All the way back to spawn. All the way back. to spawn.
You don't have that much time. You're down to like a minute 20.
I have ult too.
Wait for the.
Alright.
Wait for the.
We'll push him with my sound barrier once I
We
say.
got Nano Genji, so let's help out the Genji.
And I have bomb.
They're gonna have transfer. You have to
Alright.
force out the
Bait
front.
out, yeah, bait out the
We're
train.
gonna initiate when I say so. All right.
Yes,
All right.
sir.
Let's group up.
Alright, Genji's on the plane. On
Alright,
his
group up.
top left. Alright, I'll find him. Winston mid.
Let's get that diva back, and then
Found
we'll
him,
push
found him, found him. I'm gonna go behind and hack him. Got him.
Alright.
You kind of drift off by yourself here, right where a monkey was called, right where we know a Genji has kind of stalked that area. You don't have any survivability, dude.
All right,
Once
they're not
you
being
hack-
aggressive.
or-
You're gonna die.
It's fine.
Zen down, Zen down.
All right.
Nice.
do the thing.
Good.
Did the
Get the
thing.
diva, get
On a
the
hack,
diva.
on a
That's a
hack.
late beat too.
One point.
I don't know if you just
Yep, get
did
the
you
point,
just give it
get
there?
the point. Did
Get
the
the
thing.
diva.
Zen down,
No,
Zen
he's
down.
had it.
All right.
Nice.
Do the thing.
Good.
Did
Get
the
the
thing.
diva. Get the
It's
diva.
kind of weird because the kill feed doesn't really represent it. You guys are
Get the point,
even,
Get the point.
but like in terms of what
Standpoint.
you've lost versus what they've lost,
Get the
Tracer.
diva, get the diva.
especially if
Diva
there's that
back
box
sitting in the
there.
background.
They're getting more done. Yeah.
On a plane.
Tracer
On a
hack.
plane. I'm slept.
Nice job.
Help your supports.
Tracer hacked.
Okay, so that's another thing. Okay, go back. So, I think you guys just heard that Cater calls Tracer hacked, and then as we play forward, and it might be because you're all trying to get back to the point, but like you'll
Back,
see
sit in the
that
background.
Panda's running around behind
On a
you.
plane.
like,
On a plane.
he can't
I'm
go
slow.
Nice job.
anywhere,
Help your
and like
supports.
no
Tracer
one
hacked.
kills him.
He
Well,
just-
okay, maybe not here, but there's another point where Cater hacks Panda, and he's just running around for free and doesn't get focused, as all of you run
Back
past him.
sitting in the back. Standpoint.
a little bit further back too. Again, Burger. We're gonna
Tracer.
pick on you.
Get diva. Diva and back sitting in the background.
You're kind of there.
On a plane.
Tracer
On a
hack.
plane. I'm slept.
You just get slapped.
Help your supports.
Tracer
Like,
hacked.
why aren't you like? You could eat that, and you use bunny hop just to get to that position in the first place. But like, you realize the Anna is there, kind of on reflex, especially like lower tier. She's just gonna want to try to sleep you. It should be a little bit obvious, and then you're just taken out of the fight forever. It's like 3v2, 4v2. By the time you get back, it's all a little bit late.
All right, we can push him with.
Break shield. I'm bombing. Oh, I
That's
messed
a
up.
fucking bomb.
I messed it up.
There.
I have ult in 2 seconds. Second.
Shit. I'm gonna use this to stall on the payload.
All right. I'm on payload with you.
I'm gonna ult on
No nade
payload.
on the Anna. No nade on the Anna.
Genji blade.
On a low. I'm diving her.
Ulting.
So that was kind of, you had the right idea where you went after the Anna, but again you got slept. This, we'll talk a little bit more about like using defense matrix, but you get taken out of the fight again.
Switching to Moira to get in there faster.
Come on, wake up.
They're mostly hacked. Grab the health pack. Touch point, touch point, touch point.
Yeah. There's not really like too much to talk about at that point outside of just like how a little bit unfortunate it all went at the end there.
There was like no real leadership at the end. No. Yeah.
And like leadership is a part of it, but I think part of it is like understanding the space that the other team is going to try to occupy. And so like you can see this on East, right? And like to be fair, like we kind of went into it knowing like they're about 300 500 average SR above you. Their main tank sub is like in diamond. and main tanks a lot and has a lot of experience. And then also, like, and I think you can see too from the way that they play that they've been a team for a very long time, and that they have, like, their coordination is closer because they've had that experience with each other. And the way that they take space, like, it's not perfect, but, like, they have an idea of where they should be. So I think for you guys, it's also, like, study what they're doing too, and, like, how they're getting these outplays, even though you guys are, like, sometimes mechanically beating them, right? And, like, you're not doing badly, but you're not using your space as well, and it causes a lot more like, it's a lot easier for them to confuse you guys than it is for you to confuse them, and there's a reason for that.
Oasis is, if we get time to do Oasis, that's kind of like a very big point of, like, most of the time you guys just beat them mechanically. Like, there's nothing, like, special about the fight that happened. You just clicked heads better than they clicked heads, which is, like, that's fine, but that's not how you beat teams that are gonna be, like, way above you in the SR range.
Well, and it's also, like, on maps, like, especially, like, Payload and Hybrid, you're gonna see that you're gonna have a lot more trouble just getting away with doing that, and having that advantage. Like, it won't help you as much.
You're gonna ask Cater.
No, we understand you broke your finger.
I mean, I dislocated it and reset it.
We understand you're responsible.
It's even worse. Like, oh my god.
Wait,
I'm gonna
so
hack the
holding?
big
Are
pack.
we holding back here? Okay.
No, I'm running
I mean,
back.
it's Yell's call.
Okay. They have Winston, Lucio. Ooh, they're all diving up. They have a Doomfist. Ana back. I'm gonna hack Diva.
Alright. Make
She's
sure
coming
to
up top.
target Diva. Make sure to
top.
cut.
Alright.
She's hacked.
Dive on the Diva.
Here,
Dive on
here,
the Diva.
here.
Go, go, go.
This is fantastic, where you recognize the diva has, like, isolated herself, and you all get to just punish her for free. They get like this high ground, but the cart isn't, like, far enough for them to, like, really take advantage of it. Plus you get to circle around and take a fight anyway, like 6v5.
Yeah, this is great. By the way, like, I know we, like, got on you guys a lot for stuff on attack, but, like, defense, there's a lot of really good stuff, and this is a really, really great start here.
Yeah, this defense was really good.
Go.
Got her.
I can't come with you guys. I can't come with you. Nice job.
Use that. Nice shot.
Oh, we got Doom.
Get Doofus.
Oh, dang it. Sorry.
Monkey hacked.
I'm hacked.
Ooh, Lucius,
Down,
nice.
Doom low.
This is kind of weird too, how, like, this kind of unfolds out here. Dragon is, like, out here and away from his team. I mean, you kill someone, that's great. It's just kind of funny that you're just randomly out here.
Like, really, you should die there. But because you guys are already winning the fight, you kind of get away with it. But just be careful, like, where you end up and when you decide to red at Lucio. This happens to have been, like, the right... Like, you happen to have been in the right place to, like, kind of catch the retreat and be able to get some frags. But just be really careful, because, like, if it were, you know... If Winston had more health, like, probably you would have been the one that died, and then it might have been a different game.
As I did it, I realized it was not a good idea.
I mean, you got the kill, so, like...
Yeah, so...
Hey.
Can't complain too much.
Doom low.
Good job.
Oh, no, I just have
And you
another
get out, too, like, right when the Doomfist finally comes along, so...
He gets out, gets the peel, too.
He backed out. He's gone.
Okay.
He ran.
Nice shot.
I'm gonna put my...
Let's try the same thing again.
Alright, they're coming mid. They're going right.
Alright.
Diva, main. I'm gonna...
On that same token, though... Why are you here? This is kind of like...
Yeah.
I was looking for an opportunity.
I was like, what are you doing?
I was looking for an opportunity to get a boop of someone who would get removed from the group, and I didn't get it because I ended up getting Winston.
I guess that's fine, but they also, like, all took the stairs up, and they wasted no cooldown, so, like, you boop someone off, they just use a cooldown to get back up. I guess it blows a cooldown, but, like, you gotta it's the risk reward situation of like you're kind
At
of
the
away
very
from your
least,
team.
tell us.
Yeah.
Tell us we can bail you out just in case. Yeah.
Diva main.
Ciao,
I'm gonna hack Diva. Oh, she went out of my range. She went out of my range. I lied. Hacking Ana. Oh, Diva, I lied. It got her.
Go for Diva, go for Diva.
Dead.
She walked in front of the Ana hack. I have
The
ult.
doofus is dead. Doofus is dead.
I like you and Freddy, you and Burger focusing the Diva, like kind of not ignoring the Winston straight up, but like you're getting rid of the Diva. She's the one that's low. She's the one that's been hacked. She's the focus.
Yeah, that was really good. And then also, Cater, on that note, good call on hacking the Diva. A lot of the stuff that you said after that was kind of clutter. So just like make sure that like you don't have to explain yourself, right? So you meant to hack the Ana, you hacked the Diva instead. It's done. Just make sure your team knows what the target is, and then help them focus it down.
So VOD review is for explaining yourself, and we dissect things. You don't need to explain yourself in the game.
Yeah.
Good job,
Diva 1.
Diva's out of range. I'm still on the
Break bubble.
Nice. Nice, get the monkey.
On that token though, like you kind of like push out baby Diva, and like Hash on Winston stayed back here like the entire time. Like he could have died. For sure.
I'm still on
Break bubble.
Nice. Nice, get the monkey.
He lives.
He's out.
Oh,
So actually, I don't know if you guys noticed this. I would actually highly recommend you watch the entire VOD, like even the maps and the fights that we don't go over. Hash lives forever, like forever, just behind you. There are a couple of fights that you guys basically almost lose because Hash lives so long that he gets his ult and then stalls even longer. If we get an Oasis, you'll actually see like one of those. But make sure you're not just like letting the main tank kind of get away with murder. Again, it's just like I know Hash is like a pretty decent main tank and it can be hard to like deal with him, but like ignoring him's not really an option either.
And it's like he's not like unkillable. He's diamond. Like
Yeah.
he's not this like incredible god. He makes mistakes too.
oh, guys, the card solo pack.
I got it.
Words.
Oh my god.
He's hacked.
So if you actually watch that whole thing back, Luna just literally sits on cart because the fight's happening above. She literally just sits on cart the entire time and just rides it all the way. It's like, it's weird to judge that because at one point, like, you almost C9, but you caught it. That's the important bit. You guys caught it. That's huge.
Yeah. So good eye.
And like, she basically did nothing for that entire fight too because she was just riding cart, right?
She did almost Captain Point 8, to be fair.
She did almost cap point A, but like the actual fight as it occurred,
Yeah.
you guys basically got 5v6.
Yeah.
I bet that was the plan from them too. Kudos to them if that was.
I don't think that was intentionally the plan, but I think like after she got past car wash and realized no one was coming back for her, she was like, I'm still in the cart. Do you want me to come back? And her team was probably like, nah, just stay there.
True.
So like, see, if that were me, I would have been like, keep feeding. Make
Yeah.
sure they don't see the cart.
Literally. If you're gonna go for that C9 plan, you gotta commit. You gotta feed your
I
asses
think
off.
I have actually said that the last time when we were versus a Taxes team on Kings Row. I was like, just keep feeding out of spawn. Don't worry about it.
Just feed.
We were way too focused, but good job still.
They swapped. No, they didn't.
Oh my.
I noticed it on the way back.
Can you speed boost them up the stairs back here? Speed boost up the stairs back here, Leanna.
Okay, at least we caught it. That's the important part.
Hey guys, can we set up here?
So, I like how you're like kind of formulating this plan of like, we're gonna set up back here, but remember how like they nearly like full held G2? Where did they get the hold?
Where Tags is at.
Yep. Because they still get to drop down. They don't have to blow any cooldowns, and they're
also,
like
they can poke both left and right. Right, so it's like no matter where you go, if you approach from the left side or if you come from under, like it's an easy approach from because it's a very central location, right? So it's like an easy approach for them.
it's just like this. You claim more space being up here than you do being back here. Back here, you're welcoming them into attacking you, whereas up on the boxes right here, you get to almost initiate a little bit more.
And also going back to, I know I keep harping on this, but so you're running Lucio and Moira. They were running Anna and Zen, right? So like Anna and Zen both have range, and the cat's coming in. I'm trying to make sure he doesn't.
He's fine.
Turn the power strip off again. But anyway, so Anna and Zen can sit up there because like they can kind of sit there and still help their team. Lucio and Moira are very short range, so it doesn't make sense for the support. Like it's a good idea, right? Because it's definitely a very powerful position. But if you're running a Lucio and Moira, they have to be with the team in order to like contribute to the fight. So like having the two of them go up there, they can't really do anything from there. So like they don't really want to be in that position. And also your DPS are also pretty close range. Like Sombra goes in, she's a flanker. I mean, Doomfist is complete short range, right? So like from that perspective, like holding mid means that everyone can kind of like jump in together, jump out together. And you're going to get a lot of value out of that position versus holding the back corner where you like, you don't, like, if you have a Widow or like a Soldier or a McCree, you would want them to hold there, but you don't. So it doesn't make as much sense for you to hold that space because it's not advantageous for like the cast that you have.
Please?
Yeah, I'm gonna come in with a hack on them in a minute.
No.
A big one, a big one.
Left all the way back.
No, I'm gonna ult them all when they're together.
Alright, we got a good test right here.
Alright.
Alright.
I'm gonna drop an ult. I'm gonna drop an ult.
No, never mind. I lied.
They pushed me.
Alright, ulting. Oh, I'm gonna drop an
point this
ult.
one
No,
out
never mind. I
real
lied.
quick. I keep
Oh, I'm
passing
gonna
it.
drop an ult.
Very good job, Dragon. You're kind of down here because like of the weird team setup, but you see the hack and you just boop her out of the way to cancel the hack. Very good job.
Yeah.
That's great Lucio play.
Thank you.
An ult.
No, never mind. I lied.
They pushed me.
Alright, ulting.
Wait, where did
Nice.
Moon die? Where was he?
Where were you, Moon?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Whoa! Yo!
Yeah, he went to the server to that way after I was trying to tell him to go to the back.
I'm gonna.
Yeah, it looked like he died by the
He
server.
was trying to go for the Mega. How's that?
Alright, we got a good test
So
right
he's
here.
back in Mega.
Alright.
So he gets pushed.
Alright.
I'm gonna drop an
bombing.
ult.
They
I'm
just
gonna
pushed
drop
him
an
for
ult.
free.
No, never
And
mind.
I
I
guess,
lied.
like, I don't.
Push me.
Alright, ulting.
That's a
Nice.
great EMP.
Get the diva, don't let.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great counter.
It's a great EMP. Burger, you kind of...
You
She's
have
very...
you have the right idea.
You have the right idea. Two things. One, you probably should be launching bombs sooner because of the significant delay of when EMP happens. They still have range of movement. They don't have abilities, but they can still move, right? It's kind of like an area that has like a lot of escape. They can actually almost push forward into here if they're fast enough. Also, you need to learn when to throw your bombs up in the air and when to not. There was a really big one when Freddy got like a 3-man shatter on King's Row, and you threw your bomb up. You actually threw it over the street and almost into the back alley. It barely caught the Anna because it didn't land in the back alley, but there were 2 other people it missed because you threw it like wildly. If you want, we can like sit down and we can go over like throwing diva bombs or things like that, but that's something you should probably be practicing.
And like, how do I put it? Like, I know we're harping on you a lot, but to be honest, like the whole diva bomb, how to throw it, the angles thing, that's just pure practicing. Like, it would be unfair to expect you to like have full mastery over it. Like, you'd be a masters if you did, you know what I mean? So it's like, don't feel bad that you're like missing stuff, but something to keep in mind is like sometimes actually throwing it up, especially in like spaces like this where there's like a lot of doorways and walls and stuff, you actually get a lot more value out of it if you either just like throw it down onto the point or even like push it forward into people so that it like shoves them into a position where they can't get out.
Like, you know, like some of them are retreating, you probably could have thrown bomb in there. And again, like wherever direction they're going, instead of just throwing it up here where it's actually going to get blocked by like
The actual
this wall,
architecture,
the
yeah.
actual architecture of the map, like you can toss it into the places they're retreating to. You force them into smaller spaces.
Yeah. And I think that's one other thing. So like one other thing. So the EMP bomb combo is really strong. Typically, what you have to do in order to make it work though is like D.Va throws a bomb first, and then when they like put down Winston bubble and everyone thinks they're safe, and then Sombra goes in and EMPs and gets rid of it, and then everyone dies. So typically, if you do it the other way, kind of like you saw here, right? Like you don't quite have enough time to react and for the bomb to explode in order to actually get the kills that you want. So if it happens that like the EMP happens, you see them getting pushed into a room, like maybe hang on to the bomb and just like be a little more patient with it until you see where people are gonna be, and then throw it in when they can't get out.
Don't let them push the cart.
Winston low.
Nice. We have advantage.
Good job.
D.Va had.
Also, during that EMP too, going back to the beginning of this, where like you could find out what people have ults by check marks and stuff.
Nice.
So who has ult?
Get the D.Va. Don't let them push the cart.
Nice. We have advantage.
Ana and the Winston, right?
Sombra and the Winston. No one calls it. No one's aware.
Advantage.
Good job.
D.Va has ult.
This is literally information the game is giving to you
I
for
have the
free.
big health pack.
Take it.
I honestly didn't know until tonight that was even a thing.
Now you learned something even better.
I knew that, but yeah, I should have called that. I saw some of this.
No, they didn't get paid.
I had to stay back because I saw you guys walk. I didn't want them to get it. We should be setting back up here though, for real. Like,
Yeah, come back to tanks.
They're all coming top. They're all.
What up?
Oh, no.
I saw that as it was happening, and that's why I dove in there. You see me? Like,
So like, it's actually like this weird sort of bait, probably completely unintentional. Because because look how Winston blows a cooldown
Just to get the
just
kill.
to get moved.
just to get faded.
They're all coming top left.
Oh wait.
So he gets baited, you get to jump in.
Monkey.
Oh, and then he lives forever in your backline just a little bit. Okay, look at how long. Hash is still alive.
I'm
Yeah.
hacked.
He's alone.
Ulting here.
Doomfist hacked.
I'm on him.
Oh, I'm hacked.
Fist hacked.
He's dead.
Freddie, you do a great job here. It's hard to see because of the camera angle, but you push like multiple members back through car wash and you secure a kill.
And then the shield also, like you did on Kings Row that first time, like it cuts. Hi, Cat. It cuts half the team off from the other half, and so it's like suddenly they're like spread out more than they would like to be.
That was a very good primal.
Yeah.
Lucio,
yes.
Lucio half.
I'm on the.
Nice
shit
kill, Lucio.
section. Now that, yeah, no, you don't gotta. We can skip through that. You know what's up.
Just as a forewarning for all of you, never BM in a scrim. I don't want that shit. If it happens multiple times, I will kick you off.
It's like A, it's really uncool, and then B, it's like, it's disrespectful in a way that like, your scrim partner is giving you time to help you practice as much as you're helping them practice too. So it's like, just as like a sign of basic respect to like players that you want to be playing against in the future. Just don't do it. Like, don't be a dick. You know what I mean? Like, imagine if you scrimmed a team that was a dick to you. Like, you wouldn't want to scrim them again, right? Like, same thing.
Yeah,
Word spreads fast.
We've had that before, where like teams have
Yeah.
just like BM'd us in scrims. We don't want to scrim them anymore. We're not going to give them the time of day. We're not going to give them the practice. And like this is a very small community where like this Scrub Cup like gold, plat, diamond teams live.
There aren't that many of
There
you.
aren't many
There
of
aren't
us. We pretty much almost know like at least one person from like any regular team
Yeah.
that plays like UGC or like any of the Scrub Cup
And
tournaments.
also, especially people that scrim during our time slot, there are not many of them.
It's very hard to get scrims on Fridays.
And also, the fact that East is staying up late on a Friday just to, like, do us, like, you know, I mean, it's fun because they're our sister team, but, like, please, if you BM other team, like, I can't stop you from BMing other teams, like, live when it happens, but, like, please respect Animal Farm and East because they're our sister teams and they're our friends. And like, Luna literally set this up like she didn't have to. This is not their normal scrim time, and this is like their East. This is like hella late for them, which you guys know. Half of you guys are on East too, but like, yeah, like they did this to us as a favor, so don't be a dick.
And I mean,
Yeah,
like
and
some
word
people,
spreads fast.
some people can take it. That's fine. Other people like just don't risk it.
Yeah.
Like the last thing we need, again, having a very weird scrim time on Fridays is for teams to not want to scrim us because we're assholes.
I missed that jump, so that.
Get the diva, get the diva.
Get the
There's no health pack for her. There's no health pack for her.
Burger, don't BM.
Sorry.
What do you do?
I have no idea what that means, but okay.
Bad manners.
Don't teabag, don't do that shit.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, don't.
Yeah,
Ooh, you're in trouble.
They swapped to Tracer. They swapped Infants to Tracer.
Gotcha.
That's a great call, by the way.
They're gonna
Claire.
most
That is a fantastic call. And actually, one thing that we haven't pointed out yet, there are a couple of times, not necessarily on this map, but on other maps, where like the other team is playing like a certain comp, and it's kind of clear that you guys aren't pressing tab because there's like comments like, "Oh, they have a widow," like halfway through the fight. So make sure, like, if you're dying, especially, or if you're going back to spawn, like, just press tab when you have 10 seconds of downtime. Make sure you know what's going on. So the fact that, like, Cater checked and saw the switch is huge, because now you know they have a Tracer coming in. They have a Tracer and a Sombra coming in. They don't have, I don't even remember what they were running before Doomfist.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, yeah. It's like, what's the other thing too? Oasis, going back to Oasis too. It was Gardens, I think, where a Widow kills 2. She gets the first 2 picks of the fight. Yeah. And it wasn't even until the second fight that, like, either the end of the first fight or the beginning of the second fight, they're like, oh, they have a Widow. And I think it's half because, like, you guys were focused on a Pharah, but, like, the Widow was the one who, like, broke the fight open. That kind of relates back all the way to the beginning. Remember first scrim where we talked about identifying a problem and, like, figuring out that solution, or like looking at what you have and how that solves the problem. It's kind of the same thing.
It's likely to be hacking me in the diving me. Or they might be hacking Lucio. I gotta
Oh,
be
the
watching
hack. Listen to the hack.
I got pulled out of it.
Help our Lucio
Yeah,
get
Lucio
hacked.
hacked, Lucio hacked.
That was great, where like you
That's
recognize Dragon got hacked. This
is a
bubble
fantastic bubble.
is fantastic. It cuts them off from like actually pushing Dragon. Dragon, you do a really good job too of like getting into this corner. But like, this is very fantastic of just like
Giving him extra space.
giving him the room to like get off of the hack. Because a hack Lucio is like one of the most useless heroes in all of Overwatch.
Oh, actually, yes. On that note, I don't actually, well, Cater's not here. I don't know if she knows this, but Lucio, if you hack Lucio, you basically play a 5v6. As a Lucio main, I cannot tell you how much this tilts me that it's in the game, but that's just how it goes. So, like, if you see a Lucio, basically what happens is, like, because hack now disables passives, his aura is a passive. So he can't heal, he can't speed, he can't wall ride. So he literally just does damage, which on Lucio is, like, lulz, like, who cares? Also, just one of the easiest things to kill in the world, because he literally has nothing.
Me.
Nice kills, nice kills, nice kills.
Nice. Get the
Winston. No, I didn't get the hack on him. I keep getting pulled out of my hack by damage.
Get the Lucio.
Sorry, guys.
Nice.
So actually,
Okay.
so Cater, A, explanation, don't really need it. B, one of the ways to avoid that, and this is really hard, trust me, because I'm also learning this, if you don't want to get hacked, and Tegs, you can tell her just how long the range on hack is and how ridiculous and kind of broken it actually is. But one of the better ways to do it is if you see them, because they're all on the ground right now, right? Because they have to be on the cart. If you actually translocate to high ground, like either that mid or even like you will catch someone from up there, and the chances of you getting disrupted out of hack is very low because they're not going to be looking for you or shooting at you, and also they don't really have range to do it. So one of the best ways to get hacks off on Sombra is A, just like be a little bit further away, wait until they've already engaged, take a corner that they're not looking at, and then hack, like, as they're already engaged in a fight, because they're like if Diva's already matrixing and shooting in that direction, she's not looking at server room, right? So like it might be better for you to go around back there and look for your opportunity. And another way, like I said, is just like take high ground, get on the catwalk, like use translocator to get up there, and then like hack when you see someone get a little bit too close. But the range on hack is actually broken, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like you can hack someone. Where did I get hacked that I didn't think I could get hacked? I think from like one side. I think from probably one side of Oasis to the next, like on University. Like I think hack will reach that range. Like it's actually huge.
She could
like,
get on
it's
the
so
little
long.
catwalk from behind.
Yeah.
You-
Yep.
And
So,
and on latency too. Sometimes you'll randomly hack people around corners.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah,
like
exactly.
like
That's
take
it.
advantage of the range, take advantage of high ground, because it is like Sombra. One of the advantages Sombra has on Tracer is that it's a lot easier for you to get up high, because you can just toss your translocator up. So like start like look at Sombra players, like watch them Fitzy, watch, I guess, like I don't know if Cody's still playing, but Soon plays a lot of Sombra. Like just like see how they move around the map and like the positions that they take, and like take advantage of those, because it'll help you a lot. The cat is very intrigued by the microphone. If you hear it
There he goes.
clicking around,
Alright.
that's what it is.
Okay. Take him down. Winston low.
There's no nades, dude. They can die.
So we harped on you for your bombs. So this bomb was really good.
This is a fantastic bomb.
Mostly because there are multiple options you could do with it, and again, this might go back to like learning when to throw bombs up in the air and when not to throw bombs in the air. But this bomb is good for two reasons. One, it's at a point where if they try to retreat down, it's going to try to force them to retreat downward back into car wash, where they'll get even pushed further. Or if they dare like jump up to retreat, fuck, that was terrible. If they jump up to retreat, they're going to get hit by it. Also, I'm kind of very curious whether or not you realized Anna was here. She was kind of roaming this like part of the map to heal, but it gets her.
Well, and also the other good thing is, like, honestly, even if you, so this is great because it actually gets a kill on the Anna, right? But like, even if you don't get the kill on her, it splits her off from the team, and you just see Sombra over there, so it forces Sombra and Anna both back, where they can't help their Genji, who's like desperately trying to keep the fight going over here. Wait, that is a Genji, right? I can't
Someone's
actually
down here. Ostrich. It's Sombra.
Is it Sombra?
Yeah.
That looks like a C. Well, so Sombra's down there. Okay, no, so that's a baby Diva. That's Diva.
Yeah, it's Diva.
So it keeps Anna from healing Diva, which means it's so much easier for your team to demech her. And then, I guess, who's back there? I can't even tell. Panda's back there. So Tracer and Anna both get completely zoned off from this fight, which means that you now have, like, a 2v3 or 2v4 or whatever on point, which is amazing because you're, like, it's so much easier for you to win. So that's a fantastic bomb.
Get
Nice, good bomb.
Sombra.
Oh, he got hacked.
Sombra behind us still. Sombra behind us still.
Didn't matter, but yeah.
You want?
You just
that's
did a weird
hilarious.
thingy.
Sombra hacked.
Nice job.
Over you, Tank. This is my favorite bit for you right here.
Good job.
Oh.
Did anyone see what he did?
Thumbs down.
No.
No, this is a
Oh, okay.
fucking amazing play. Okay, we'll play it back.
Nice job. Healing aura.
Yeah.
Good tracer.
Good job.
Did you catch that?
Did anyone catch that?
Got canceled the Lucio.
Oh, he gets Lucy.
He got him beat.
I would be so tilted. Okay, Luna probably wouldn't be tilted because I don't think she really tilts that hard.
No.
I would be so fucking tilted. I would be ranting in comms about how broken Doomfist is.
That was so good.
The timing was perfect, and like, as your coach, I say A+. As someone who plays Lucio, I say fuck Doomfist.
I am a leader.
Good job, guys.
So like honestly, for like all the stuff we got to nitpick about in general, though, that was really great because a lot of your dives were a bit more coordinated on defense. You followed up on hacks. There's still like a lack of like ult communication and like combining ults outside of like, oh, I'm gonna EMP and then someone like throws an ult into it. but for the most part, you guys usually jump into a target and you guys follow through, and that's.
And I also think one of the other things on defense that I saw that I really liked is like a lot of the times that you ulted and the way that you use your ults and your cooldowns were a lot more thoughtful, and you just like you accomplished a lot more with it, right? So like I think you guys probably saw and felt the difference there, where like a couple times we were saying like Pores, that's a great bubble. Like I don't know, like some of them you definitely clearly thought about it because you communicated what you were trying to do, but like a couple of them were just like really good in terms of where they were placed, what they were able to do for the team, and what you guys were able to get out of it. So like keep doing that, and like some of it might be instinctive, but you know, think about why things worked as well as why they like, as much as we say think about why things didn't work, also think about why things worked and like do more of it, you know? And I think this is like a great example on defense of like you guys, generally speaking, positioned well, you helped each other out, you focused the right targets, and you guys like completely shredded them. And that was really, really good. Really well played.
Good job, us.
Alright, so we've been at this for like
an hour and a half.
Hour 15. I guess an hour and a half because we've had people waiting.
Yeah.
How are y'all feeling? I know Elysian had to leave.
I'm down to keep going.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm keep going. I'm gonna go get me a drink. I'll be right back. Keep going. Don't let me stop.
All right.
Sounds good.
Oasis is a little bit quicker because honestly, we're gonna look at some fights and be like, yeah,
Tegs bailed you out.
Tegs carried.
Cater bailed you out of
or
that.
Cater carried. I'm pretty sure like half the fights that you guys win can be described as like, wow,
your DPS popped off.
Your DPS
and
popped
or
off.
got ignored and therefore they popped off.
It's almost like the complete opposite of like this map.
Also, I'm not gonna lie, Dragon, your Mercy, I know you're a Mercy main and you have the most hours on her, but like your Mercy play is like significantly better, and I think like you'll notice the differences for yourself too.
Yeah, it always feels much better to play Mercy.
Alrighty.
Alright.
Let's go.
Settle in, maybe.
If we can figure out how to get the...
This website's a piece of
Maybe
shit.
winnable.
It's like really...
Winston, no jump here, he's low.
bad sometimes.
This is the most
Sitting
useful
here
site
taking
ever.
over.
Why does it fucking suck?
Breaking stuff.
I know, so I kind of feel bad.
Oh, wow. You
Keep
missed
going.
my amazing guess of
Oh yeah, you guessed
guessed
the
the
right
right
spawn
spawn.
that they were coming out of.
I did.
Fantastic. Alright, real quick, to harp on one thing real quick. This comp looks alright. What's kind of the odd thing out? Can anyone take a guess?
The Tracer's
Is it the Moira?
Hey.
Bingo.
Bingo. So like it's not like a bad pick, and I know for you, Moon, this is kind of a comfort pick, but this is why we also asked you to play more Ana. The problem here is like the main people you're going to be healing are very mobile, and they don't want to stay with you. They want to occupy high grounds. They want to take back lines.
Or rather, it's not necessarily they don't want to stay with you. They don't want to stay together. Right, because like one of the key advantages to running dive is that you can like dive works the way that it does partially because you are approaching from different angles, and if you see a lot of like just for like an easy example, like if you watch like Boston, because they're like really well known for their dive comps, right, and like the way that they play dive. If you ever watch them like attack on Hanamura, the way that like Striker will go from one angle as Gamsu approaches from another, and like Note follows like the Tenkin, and then like, you know, Genji maybe comes from a different angle. Like that's literally how dive works, is that you give them too many directions to shoot in so that there's no A, you're piling damage on one target, and then B, there's no way they can shut all of you down at once. And that's like one of the advantages of having these really mobile heroes. So when you have like your ground team as a group that like doesn't really want to stay together, it's a lot harder to get use out of Moira. But that said, if you don't know this yet, but I think eventually they go like Doomfist or something, like you'll notice that Moira for sure has much better survivability, and then also it's tough on it's just like tough right now to pick the right main healer, because like Ana also kind of sucks on this map, and there's like, and Mercy's gonna be following your farm.
Oh,
So it's tough to like.
It's weird to find
we
things
need
to pair with a pharmacy.
We'll take the jump
Yeah.
pad and then we'll dive
Is
off
kind of what
that.
we're getting
Yeah,
at.
Pretty much.
All right. Before this happens, Wilfredo, are you back?
Yes, but I'm currently eating. But go ahead. Okay. All right. So, this goes back to the whole comp thing, right? They have a Lucio and we don't, and I should be noticing that because of course they're gonna have that high ground before me.
Past. So you know that Lucio is an option, but you don't know that they have one, right? So I guess like in terms of how you think about it, like what would you do differently, I guess?
Not immediately dive up there by myself.
That's a good answer. Because that's what happens.
Oh, so we're not taking.
This dive is very problematic because one, it's blind. You have no idea what they're running. Two, there's this really sick fucking wall in the way.
That doesn't break.
That doesn't break, and you get no support through it.
Yeah.
Look at my lifeless body. Yes, look at that. He looks like a little plushie toy. It's so sad.
Jump down, jump down. I cannot get up there now. I am stuck, very stuck. Back up, we have no
We have no anything.
That's a good call to back out.
Probably gonna follow this.
That's a great DMEC, by the way. That's a great fadeaway DMEC. So it's like even as you're going out, you're still getting value because Tegs has on the other side, Tegs and Cater have both gotten picks on both healers, and then Tegs gets the Diva mech on the way out, which is fantastic. But, and here's the problem, Cater stays a little too long and gets completely caught out. So when the team calls to back out, even though you're Tracer, you should also be backing out with them. Like maybe not necessarily along the same path, but you should still be bailing.
I mean, you don't have to like back out toward your own spawn. You could back out and then like hang out in a flank. You can go hang out by streets. There's like a lot of little like ledges you can kind of crouch behind and things like that. Just get off the point and out of like where they know where you are.
Because like what happens on Tracer though is like you have a lot of mobility and like you can definitely get the fuck out, right? Like, and you don't necessarily have to engage with your team every time, but if you try to like 1v6 and you're not like Defran or like Sabiel V, like you're probably not gonna win, right? And even if you watch like top Tracers go in alone, like when it seems like they're going in alone, they're still picking out the targets that are the most isolated and like just one clipping them to get them out of the way first and then getting everyone else as they like try to back out and like scatter. So like, you know, pick your fights on Tracer. Like don't like you're not like a, you know, you've got limited capability.
You're a very great like 1v1 hero, but like kind of shitty 2v1 hero unless you're like stupidly good, like a top 500 player.
Oh, I tried to revolt. Oh.
Alright.
Crouching like. Oh, we don't need that.
Going right.
But at least that the good news is you're kind of going in at a little bit of an advantage.
Great bubble, great bubble.
Alright. So, see this boop that happens? I'm gonna play the next like bit of this clip, but remember that boop.
Oh, jump pad left.
Just one.
So,
Monkey
eventually
ball.
Freddy
Monkey back.
dies.
Monkey one.
I'm gonna Barrage.
So like, this boop is really good. This is an amazing boop. And you guys kind of fail to capitalize on it. Because it forces a bunch of people back, and they're isolated. There's like this entire hallway, there's like this wall. Like, there's so much space between like what's happening with these three and like where the rest of their team is.
And like, yeah, and like Anna's still sitting on high ground, right? So like it boops them far enough back. Like she can heal Lucio where Luna is now, she can't heal Hash, right? Like Hash is literally now stuck behind your entire team.
And then watch. You just ignore him.
And he's only, look at where his ult charge is now, right? He's at 80. He's at 80. If you kill him now, he just dies. He has no out, right? He's stuck. But instead, because he kind of pretty much gets ignored.
Just one.
Not only does he get ignored, Freddy, you end up pushing up into like 3 people and you kind of feed a little bit.
Monkey bot.
Monkey back, monkey one.
I'm gonna barrage.
Okay, so finally Hash starts getting focused, but then by that time, he's gone back out. His team is with him now, and you've lost your own main tank.
And he has ult.
And you're about to lose D.Va. And now he's farmed up ult because he's been ignored this entire time.
I'm dead, I'm dead.
Anna down.
Genji.
Good. That's winnable. It's winnable. I'm coming back.
Let's go back.
Get up point, get up point.
Help the fair, help the fair.
Stalls. We're
Stalls.
D.Va
long
pushing
enough.
you.
About the tank stall for like
Tracer
30.
down.
Nice
Thank
job.
you, Bubble. Bubble's down. Ulting the... Oh, she ate my ult.
Still alive.
I missed my jump, Winston, no jump here, he's low. He's low in the back.
Oh,
Finally
Nice,
died.
Finally died.
Good job.
Bubble down, D.Va.
Hold your ults.
Oh, and on point, Oh, yeah.
Nice.
I like this. Genji,
Get that
Genji.
Genji, get that
That's
Genji
all
down.
right.
Yeah.
They're gonna keep throwing themselves at the point, so we gotta kill them fast. They're trying to stall.
Tracer down.
Alright. They're now at 73% of the objective. And they started, when you guys started this fight, they were at like 30.
And like this fight was just really weird because like there's nothing really like crazy to look at otherwise, except for the fact that like Cater and Tegs like actually killed everyone. Like they literally just killed everyone. And it's all started, this entire situation happened because Hash lived at the beginning of it and got to stall forever.
Get that Lucio. We're in a position we can stagger him. Nice job, guys. They're backing up.
Hash has killed like
Bubble down.
Stay back.
4 or 5 people and Cater has killed like 2 or 3.
Try to get their Anna.
I always
again,
got
but fun.
primal. Let me know when you're. Let me know. Yeah, call at the end when you see her. That's
Yep.
specific, but I'll try to. Tracer right side. I can't get.
They push in, I'm gonna barrage.
I'm getting dove on.
I got stuck.
Gotcha.
She's got no need.
She's low. Oh. Bye, Anna.
She's dead. Nice.
Winston half.
Watch
He
out,
backed
you're
out
by
to spawn.
yourself.
He backed out to spawn.
Yeah, nice.
He kind of used a lot of ult,
Arranging
but
my
this is
share
like
game too.
the bomb is a remech. The
They
primal,
Widow.
Yeah, they
nah,
Watch out, it takes.
but the barrage was good.
Yeah, just play angles. You got it. You know what to
I
do.
think the primal might have been to get back to the point.
They're coming left.
And help contest.
Gotcha.
Even though it's kind of
Call the widow or the Anna if
Yeah.
you see her, Kane. I'll try to get.
Alright.
Anna's behind them.
Winston
I'm
go
gonna
point.
So, pause. Alright, Burger.
Back to picking on you.
Back
you
to
see,
picking on Burger.
you're in this high ground. This
Which
is
is
like,
fine.
which is
It's
fine.
okay. It's not bad.
But you see the Winston jump in. I'm gonna go back to when he jumps in. So.
Oh, also, actually, before we even get to that, okay, what's another thing that's problematic that has not been called out at all?
The widow swap.
Yep. And guess what you're running? You're running a pharmacy. So, who should be concerned about that right now?
I know a guy.
This again, this goes back to all of you. And we're gonna harp on it until you guys figure this out. But like, press some tabs, figure these things out.
Especially between fights and when you're in spawn. press tab.
Especially you, Tegs, because you're up here poking. You see them. You've been poking at them the entire time. You didn't even need to press tab. Alright, but back to picking on you, Burger.
Anna's behind
Okay.
Alright, so he jumps in.
them.
Winston go point.
2.
Listen, no
Anna
doubt.
in front of the.
He jumps down, but he goes the other direction. 4,
I'm slept.
5, 6.
Get the Anna if you
Bubble
can.
down.
Probably like 6.
Damn it, I'm dead.
It's like 7 or 8 seconds before you actually shot and like confronted the Winston.
Also, on that note, actually, if you if you watch like pro divas or like top 500 divas play, one really cool thing that you should really take advantage of is like when you see enemy Winstons diving your teammate, especially, and even just trying to dive in, if you boost at them, you can knock them off trajectory, and a lot of times what it does is it forces them to land outside of their bubble, because a lot of them like drop bubble as they're landing. On maps like Route 66, it's amazing because you can literally, like, if they're trying to dive high ground, you basically literally keep them from diving high ground and then they're stuck on the ground. But, like, even here, for example, like, if you could have knocked Hash off his trajectory, then you knock him away from your support, right? And, like, that's, like, still a pretty good play. And also now he's, like, potentially not able to use his bubble, or maybe his bubble isn't where he wants it to be, or he's out of line of sight of his team and they can't help him. So there's, like, a lot of ways that, like, you could have, it just, like, prevent him from doing what he wants to do.
Like, you can get down here. He's used his mobility already. So you get down here, you take him from this right angle. You have your fat mech being a wall for, like, any sort of support that would normally come in at him. Mm-hmm. And you're a diva, so you, like, you shoot and you press E and you burst him down. You're very good at bursting down Winstons. Like, this is, like, Hash, frankly, fed. And he should have died.
He should have died.
Winston no dies.
Ana in front of the...
I'm slept. Get the Ana if you
Bubble
can.
down.
Damn it, I'm dead. Die point, stall as long as you can.
I can't get it. They're widows.
So, pause for a second. This is actually an amazing stall by Pharmacy, because most Pharahs will make the mistake of flying too high. But you guys, like the two of you, are like high enough to not be on the ground, but still high enough to contest. Like, this was like amazingly well played.
You do this on University too.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, both of you playing Pharmacy, you guys did a really great job.
Yeah.
Staying back
Like,
by
this
the
should
traffic.
not have happened.
Stay on point, keep stalling. Get to 99.
It's just Genji.
Maybe winnable.
You gotta get to at least 90, we're good.
No, 85.
Now
We're
now
good.
you get back out. Now you get back out.
That was flaps.
Yeah, I mean, no, like that res is like, going for that is fine because it forces you to like die and get reset. I kind of wonder if you could. It's control, so they shouldn't let you live. But like sometimes, especially in like these low elos, they'll try to,
or they'll like forget where you are. Sometimes
they'll forget where you are, and you could slingshot off of dead bodies with Guardian Angel, right?
It's like, there's potential that you could have stalled longer by yourself, but like it's fine that you.
This is stupidly nitpicky. Like, we nitpick a lot. This is like.
It's not even a nitpick. Like, honestly, we don't know if it would work, but it's an idea. Like, if you're in the same situation next time,
Slingshot yourself back and forth and see.
It may have bought you a couple more seconds or a couple more percentage points, but you're already at 91, so really it doesn't really matter that much.
It's still like one fight territory.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just have to get it in.
Back out, regroup. We can get a quick regroup here.
I should have barrage again this.
Don't get picked.
I'm here to pick up Mercy.
That's a good call, by the way.
Or not, that's fine.
And then
Fuck me, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go left.
Figure
So
it
I'm
out,
gonna
taxi.
drop my ult, try to game for the Ana.
Alright.
They're up top.
Oh my god.
That's unfortunate.
We're gonna have to go into it now.
Got her.
That's also unfortunate.
This is also very unfortunate.
Yep. 'Cause then Dragon also dies.
I think you said at one point you were making calls and your mic was muted, but please call your reses. Burger is in the perfect position to like DM and like.
I don't know that he could have DM'd. Like, I don't know that he could have saved the res itself, but he probably could have saved your life.
And at least like he could body block too, where he would take the boop instead of you, and you probably still would have gotten the res off.
There's a lot of things. So like your off tank can do a lot. Like your teammates in general, really. There's a lot of things that they can do to help you. Just make sure you communicate, because like the timing for res sometimes, because like you have a 10-second window, right? So it's like your team doesn't always know when you're gonna go for it. And then also Cater, great stick on the Ana.
Very good job.
I like that you called you were gonna stick the Ana and then you stuck her. That was fantastic.
Nice, good. I'm on the widow, Widow's half.
Ryan, Winston behind us.
Drop down.
Whole team behind us.
I'm very low.
Coming back.
Widow's dead. Keep me up.
Where you at?
I'm on point.
Oh, yeah, I see you.
I'm gonna die to that. Oh, I almost killed myself.
Bubble down.
Genji one.
I got all, I'm stalling.
A lot of this, there's nothing really special that kind of happened here, besides the fact that they probably didn't focus well enough.
Mm-hmm.
You guys live probably way longer than you should.
Stalling.
Nah, I got wrecked by Genji ult.
Oh, yikes. Someone DC'd on
Barrage. Someone DC'd.
Somebody
Yeah,
They're
somebody
gonna pause, alright.
What the?
Alright, think about our plan here.
It's still winnable.
Okay, that's also really well done, by the way. Like, taking the time that you have during a pause to, like, keep everyone focused and say, like, alright, what do we need to do from here in order to win?
Yeah, that's like... That's the thing, like, lapses in concentration and things like that, but, like, when you're asking people, like, what do you see on your screen, and we, like, get an idea of, like, building the battlefield from each person's view and, like, hammering down an idea amongst everyone, and, like, even, like, maybe, like, at least for one person, like, saying, like, the next move they should make, like, what are your cooldowns at? What do you see? Alright, you need to make, like, this move. You need to be in this position. You need to do, like, this thing. Like, that helps maintain focus, especially with these pauses that sometimes get drawn out. You'll be amazed how, like, often, especially in, like, UGC matches or things like that, that these games just get randomly paused for, like, the stupidest reasons.
And then the fight also just,
Did
like,
you
will
something?
split because one team made better plans.
It sounds like you're gonna be having to choose a hero that's really...
We gotta
So,
get that.
very good job of maintaining focus.
He's using that tracer.
Winston's full health too.
Wherever he is, Genji is right in front of our...
Yeah, they're both middle point.
Yep. Get that.
Hold up.
The cats decided to...
You little asshole, what are you doing? I can't even pick him up.
Being a cat.
He's like fiddling with the monitor, but stuck in a corner. Like, he's like between the corner of the wall and the monitor, so it's like he's kind of stuck.
What's your plan? What are you doing?
That cat acting like a real cork soaker.
Oh my god. Alright, he went under. Alright, cool. Good for
Hopefully
you.
he doesn't shut off the power supply.
Nah, he's good. Power supply's on the other side now.
Okay.
Winston half.
Get that Winston and get that Genji.
Winston quarter.
That's a very vague, like, call, Moon, by the way. Get the Winston and get the Genji. You should be focusing one or the other.
Genji's weak. Genji's weak.
Ono half.
Nice.
Widow dispatch back to Tracer.
I'm sorry. No sleep.
That's a
Get
good
in,
job.
get in.
Ono no nade. Ono no nade.
Wrecking ball on point.
Aldo. Nah, I shot him. Get that wrecking ball.
Will you play with something else?
I think he's jealous that we're not spending time with him.
He's bad.
You're like, yo, I'm a cat. Love me. Damn it.
Pretty much.
Alright,
That cat's won't even come in the room with me.
there we go. Alright, so this is kind of unfortunate.
I'm gonna ult wrecking ball.
Focus the wrecking ball.
Got him.
That's really good
That's
stick.
how we do. Get that
That's a
Winston.
good
Get that
kill.
Winston.
Get the Winston.
Bubble down.
They got a doom fist going.
That bomb,
Somewhat questionable.
somewhat questionable. Siegel said this really well too. If you're stalling point, or if it's like one of these like 2 CP situations, just save bomb to remech, because
Same thing.
you're gonna you're eventually gonna like die. Like, your resources eventually wear thin. You might get demech, but like if you get demech and you just instantly remech, one, the bomb might be a surprise for them, and they might be in a position where they overextended to kill you, and now they have no escape of like the bomb, and you just get to remech for free. And then two, it's a second life for you, and in a sort of fight where like lives are kind of like stretched very thin.
Especially now that you're in overtime and it's at 99.99 and it's like basically the more bodies you have on the point, the more likely you are to actually win, right? So like if you have a tank on the point, that's worth even more. So like yeah, basically it's like at this point, unless you see all of them literally in the entrance and they're all heroes with no mobility, which technically, like, typically in these situations, that's not going to happen, right? Because everyone's trying to get back as fast as they can. Yeah, basically, save mech for remeching, because, like, eventually you're going to need it. You're going to wish that you hadn't used it.
Winston in the side room. He's low, he's low. Doomfist behind.
Doomfist down. Nice job, guys. Nice job.
Lucio half.
Winston
Lucio's
down.
going around center.
Oh, wrecking ball, use shield. Wrecking ball, use
Nice
shield.
stuff.
So like there's like a lull in the communication there. This coalescence was pretty good, Moon, by the way. There's this lull in communication when they're down to 2, and then the wrecking ball comes back, and that becomes like priority number 1 for you guys. Wrecking ball is really fucking hard to kill. He gets free shields, like especially if you're all close up like this. So he's probably gonna get 300 to 400 extra health on top of his like what 500 that he gets. He starts
600.
600.
Or something like that.
He's a beefy boy. So like,
Because all he does is feed. That's his job.
his literal job is to feed and be annoying. Like that's how you play Hammond. So he wants to be in your face. He wants to be annoying, and he wants you to take the bait. Because now you're all focusing while like a healer and something that can actually provide damage gets to like actually make an effect on the fight.
He just sucks up cooldowns. That's all I guess.
Doomfist half.
Hamster.
And like, Tags is the only one that doesn't fall for the bait. He's the one that's actually killing the relevant targets.
Get that Doom. Oh, we got him. Hamster's low without his shields.
Oh god. The hamster.
And like he lives long enough to where like he gets an ult eventually, but I'm pretty sure if you were actually taking out other targets first and then you could focus the hamster, because like this is over time. You're the one that control the point. Their spawn timers are like getting bigger by the second. Like when you kill someone, you're taking them out of the fight for like 11 seconds and 12 seconds and 13 seconds and 14 seconds. It scales. So like staying on the point and killing the things that you can kill in the now removes them longer. Also, Burger, you need to like not focus on killing these mines. You need to be like more focused on the Winston.
Well, if nothing else, like you're because the mines, your team has already avoided them, right? Like everyone's just not over there. So like if you save your rockets, which do so much damage on like this Winston, then like maybe Hash dies, or okay, I mean he's got beat right now, but just as an example, right? It's just like if everyone's focusing him, maybe he dies before he even gets a chance to pop Primal, right? It's like things like that can make like a really, really, really big difference.
Oh, I'm so close to ulting again.
Oh, we're close. Almost have my own.
Stay focused on the Winston. Stay focused.
Got on.
Oof. So this one, I mean, you kind of did it again, just because you really got a fast bomb. And it was like right here on the other side of this pillar. That was like a very narrow line of sight, so it really killed her. Honestly, I want to chuck this one up to luck more than like... She was already going in a direction. She was actually pretty far away. It's just barely within your range and barely within like the LOS that bomb usually requires to kill. Again, like, you can save these things for remix, because by now you would have had 3 extra lives for this stall. What the fuck? Hold up. Nah.
We live in Los Angeles. Woo.
Hooray, LA. It's not like I live in like one of the busiest streets in fucking Culver City.
In there.
On a down.
Trace
on point.
Trace very recall.
Doomfist slow. I got him.
Winston down.
Winston.
Nice.
Wrecking ball.
Now, like, there's
Oh,
no
I
one
missed
else.
him, I'm sorry.
Now you can get this wrecking ball.
Nice job. Good
There you
round,
go.
guys. Good round.
Nice.
That took literally forever.
That did take.
I
I
mean,
feel like 2 CPUs.
nicely done is a stretch.
There, even though our callouts could have been
Nicely
a
done
little
is a
bit better,
very
that's fine.
stretch. Very big.
It was done.
It was done.
The deed was done.
The deed was done.
University.
Well, you got there in the end. You know, that's what we care about here.
Stand Tracer.
Do you guys want me to switch now, or what's up?
I feel like Renzari is a bit better on this map.
Yeah,
But it's
right.
up to y'all.
I'm fine with that.
Actually,
So stay on Tracer.
Stay on Tracer, yeah.
Okay.
We could do post bomb. If they have Zen, that'll count. I'm
just
already thinking about what's gonna happen
Go a little far and then I might
Bring it
swap
out of
you.
your brain for a little bit because it doesn't happen until the end.
Should we go right?
I know.
Yes.
Rush, I'm going. Yeah.
I'm going
Salty.
watch out for boobs. Watch out for boobs.
That's nice foreshadowing. That's like you're writing a book. Watch out for boobs. That's some clever foreshadowing.
They didn't come right.
Oh, I already saw what happened here, and I already know what happened. So.
Oof.
Bing. Oh no!
I'm
it's
not
funny.
gonna lie. Okay, so for like literally, I think 10 to 15 seconds, we were like debating this because I was like, "There's no way he jumped down on purpose, right? Like he's like a better player than this." And then we were just like, "No, but like."
He doesn't need to be
what
at that
happened?
period.
And I was like, "No, I think he probably accidentally jumped down because he like forgot that he was pressing W." And then we went back and looked at it. We were like, "Oh."
Like, you're in front of your team anyway. You shouldn't be here.
Yeah. There's no reason for you.
There's
to be
literally
here.
no reason for you to
You're
be
Moira.
here.
Like your beam is like okay. Like you have some range, but you're a short range hero. Like there is literally no reason.
They're
for you
all
to
on
be
the
here.
other side of the point.
Yeah.
Like you're not gonna reach them, and this is really unfortunate.
Yeah.
The bomb could have pushed him off of that window, but yeah.
No, that's what happened. But he
not
shouldn't
be
be
back.
here in the first place for the bomb to push him forward.
Yep.
Exactly.
That's what we're getting at.
I don't know. Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Alright,
Reaper's
so
on
now
So now you guys are forced to engage.
Reaper would be good.
Soundbird our backline. Soundbird low.
alright, so pause. So like, alright, like think about what would have happened if that didn't happen. You guys can just stay up there. You literally hold high ground. The controls point's not even unlocked. Tegs just gets to rain down damage for free, and they literally have nothing that can deal with him. Right? So, like, Burger and Tegs both just rain down damage onto the point for free. And once they just try to get on point, it's, like, even easier. But because Moon is out of position and gets booped even further out of position, now you guys are kind of, like, stuck in this weird position of, like, having to brawl on point, but you're not, like...
You're not prepared to brawl compared to that.
Right, and, like, you were hoping to have more of an advantage before you had to go there. And then also... Cater getting slept here is really unfortunate, but that's a good charge, Freddy, to save her.
I mean, going back to that too, like, I know you told her to, like, stay Tracer. Pulse Bomb's kind of like a low value ult. I mean, it kills things. It's pretty good and you build it up really quick. But in the grand scheme of things, it's not like a fight-winning ult, right? It's like...
Anymore, anyway.
It's very much a quote-unquote throwaway ult. So, in this position, like, if you're going to hold this high ground right here... You can play like McCree or like Hanzo, and you get to rain down damage from behind a shield, and like
just like sit there and chill.
And you sit there and chill. They have to commit so much to dealing with you. They have a Reaper, like you're gonna just like smack him with a revolver from behind a shield, and you'll be sweet.
And there's nothing that you can do about
what can
it.
Reaper do?
I mean, he could try to go up, and then he just gets smacked by a hammer instead. You know?
Yeah, he gets like slapped by a hammer, or he gets like pocket sanded and fan the hammer, and he just dies.
Great.
Yeah, that gets pointed out later when you switch.
I'm slapped still.
This charge is like, I want to say it's like ambitious, but like it kind of actually zones people away from Cater, so like no one can take
I think
advantage.
that's what he was trying to do to get over there. So I would say this is great, but then the bad thing is because of hang on, let me take the mouse for a second. So because of this though,
yeah,
the
that's why
unfortunate thing is like she gets naded and then immediately has to recall and like abandon you, and then you kind of get caught out here by yourself because all of a sudden you're not with your team anymore. So that was really unfortunate. It's just like you put yourself in a bad position in order to help her, but like there's also this stuff over here that needs to be dealt with. So yeah, I mean like I think A+ for the thought, and I think like you definitely saved her. Like I don't think that's like there's any mistake about that. It's just like unlucky that you guys ended up in like the position that you ended up in.
Number low, number teleport.
Where did he go? Oh, he's over there.
Yeah, he's back here.
Okay.
He ended up
So yeah,
back
so
there.
now you're like not with your team, and there's like people between you.
Look at that sandwich right there.
Yeah.
Not only that, like you kind of like left Burger alone with a Reaper that went around.
Yeah.
Like he's zoned out of the fight now.
On me, Reaper on me, I'm dead.
Get the Ryan, he's up. Ryan's low.
On a half.
Yeah. So at this point, I would just get the fuck out.
Yeah. Run,
Oh,
Dragon,
Tex, you wanna go
run.
And
Yeah,
like,
Reaper.
Peter too.
No,
Like there's
she's
no
good.
point. There's
Yeah,
actually no
fair.
point in
I'm
staggering.
Oh, that is so
was
unfortunate
lucky.
that you went down there.
He had me if we were running straight out, and he had me if I tried to dodge him too. There was no way I was getting away from him.
Yeah. At least try to like pull him like further away, if anything, right?
The best thing you do there also is call out that he used the fate.
Yeah. Any cooldowns you get out of him.
Yeah. Been already in the forward counter.
You
We
just
need
can't
long
get.
range.
But yeah, also it's like
Wait,
if Cater had backed out, like she could have helped you, and you probably would have killed him. To be honest.
Hey, play
We need
McCree.
long range. Reaper
Oh,
should
okay.
have long range. So if we get like a
Good call to
Hanzo
switch to
or
McCree.
anything long range, Soldier 76.
She's gonna play McCree.
Oh, did not mean to fan the hammer. That's a little awkward.
Yes,
Forgot
you
I
gotta
was
say-
not here.
Again, Cater,
Cluttering
cluttering
comms. She
comms.
tries to hack. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Summer's right.
No bubble. No.
Does anyone see this up here?
I didn't see it now.
He was kind of going when you were pushing forward, and I guess the two people I want to ask aren't here.
So here's one thing I will say about that though. You know for sure they have a Reaper, right? Because he killed like 3 of you. There's on this map in particular, there are very limited flank paths, and if Reaper is going to be playing this flank style, which he typically does, right? Like you should always be checking them because you know that something's going to pop out from somewhere when you least expect it, and you don't want to be in that position. So it's like he's either going to be playing that hallway that he's in, like even if you don't know where he is exactly, he's going to be playing either here, like in this hallway, or like under and waiting for you guys to engage before he runs up and like walks into your backline. So like those are just pretty much the only options that he has. So like especially if you're like on support or like these kinds of like slow heroes where it's hard for you to get away from him, like always be watching these hallways. And,
Not saying to go
hallway.
into them because that's
Yeah.
also a death sentence, but like
yeah. But just be aware that danger is lurking around the corner.
No friend bubble. No personal bubble. Oh.
Reaper behind.
Oh, I'm down. Okay, that's fine.
good job on the rest of you though. If it's like, well,
Trying at least.
trying.
Oh, I
Burger,
got
you
caught
needed to
out.
like beeline
I'm
out of
dumb.
there.
They're gonna have ults. Too. Watch out. Go away and spawn.
Three of you
You're
are
gonna have
down.
to blossom.
Don't go here.
Maybe
They're gonna
yeah.
have shadow.
No.
They're gonna have shadow.
Go home.
Because their Zarya's doing better than I am.
Go home.
Go to your home.
Go home, guys.
Go
Sorry,
home,
just bubble on
ball.
herself. Left, to the left.
Left.
I got him.
On the left side, but if we go into the power room,
Oh my god, yeah. You know what's funny?
This actually could have been like way worse.
Yeah.
Because like you walk past him, right?
I got
on
him.
the left side,
He could like shatter this way. I think there was only one, so he didn't. I think it was just Moon. So he like stuttered on it, but like if you guys were like completely grouped up and he just shatters behind you.
But I think this goes back to especially when you're on tank, and I think especially when you're on Ryan against another Ryan, check your corners.
Yeah. Like when you're Ryan v Ryan, you're usually engaging into the other Ryan, right? Like that's where like the center of the fight kind of happens.
Mm-hmm.
If there's like a missing Ryan, there's nothing to engage into. You're probably gonna get like flank shattered.
Also, to be honest too, like especially if you're like, you know, with Azaria and like you see the rest of their team and you kind of know like, all right, I need to face my shield in this direction. Like you can always ask Burger to check the corners for you. Right, and this is something that, like, especially because the last fight, the Reaper just, like, walked around back. And look where he is again. He's in the same corner. Because, I don't know if I think I've told a couple of you this, but basically, especially, like, the lower the elo, and like I said, there are limited flank paths on a lot of these maps, right? Especially on Koth. Most flankers will take the same path over and over and over again until it stops working. or they might keep doing it even if it stops working, and then that's when they stop being useful to their team, right? So it's like, you know that Reaper flanked around there once, so you should be looking there for Reaper, and if you had been looking there for Reaper, you would have seen the Rhine as well. So it's just, like, you know, make sure you're aware of the directions that they have been coming from and the types of plays that they like to make.
I started getting in the habit of using the free look more. But right when I was walking to that little opening there, the main choke, that thing, I remember that thing that Spark told me was, if you don't see the Rhine, you need to put your sensors up. And that's when he shattered me.
Yeah.
Yep.
I knew I was going to say it, and then bam, he shattered me. I was like, alright, well, yeah.
If we go into his cover and Reaper's just gonna own us. Oh wait, why did you just?
That's a good bubble though.
He was.
He's done. Nice.
Sorry, I didn't
That was
use
a really
the
good
stun on.
bubble.
I got Lucio. I got Lucio. We're up. He was.
He's done. Nice.
Sorry, I didn't use the stun on.
Did you mean to charge that Lucio, or did you want the Rhine and he just kind of jumped into it?
I meant to charge whatever was there because I wanted to at least get back to my team. But I'm glad, Lucio.
Alright.
Okay, see, but Lucio
Yeah,
is a charge magnet, so...
He is. You'll charge randomly and you'll suck in a Lucio. There won't even be a Lucio in your game and you'll charge one.
I knew he was one of the 2 people I could charge at that moment, so I'm very happy
I
to
got
do
Lucio. I
that.
got Lucio.
That hit
We're up 2. We're up 2.
Push in. Go. We can still win this. Sombra in our back line.
We have Rose for the fight.
I don't want to. I just
Nice, got her.
Sorry, alright.
Sombra behind. Sombra low. Sombra down.
Good job.
Nice job, guys. Nice job.
Alright, so they're gonna have grab. They're still probably gonna have death block.
I'm almost to ult.
I saw you there, Moon. I saw that.
What'd he do?
He emoted.
We're gonna pick on you. If we pick,
have
if we pick
Shatter.
on Burger, we're gonna pick on everybody.
I'll have
Yeah.
a barrage.
Up top, I hear
Well,
one.
let's be fair on Koth. There's
Save your
slightly
barrage
less
for
than
the
enough to
for the
But
grab.
still.
should be taking advantage of the time that you have.
We're holding
You
up.
don't-
Whoa,
you
we
don't have
gotta
a lot
get
of
up here. Yeah. What am I thinking?
They're gonna use
Sorry, no friend bubble.
Yeah, they're gonna have grab. Stay spread. They got hacks. Shit.
That's a support still. I'm hacks. Fara's gonna need help.
Good job calling that you got
Stay
hacked.
alive.
Ryan.
But here's what I will say though. Pause. You could still have stalled the point. Like, someone could have been on point stalling at least a little bit.
Like, you have, like, all these ults that you're eventually just gonna use in the next fight.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's king of the hip. You just want to stall out that point as long as you can, because it's all percentage.
Yeah. So it's actually kind of like, it's good that Farah backed off and that she's being healed and bubbled by the team. So you guys are keeping her from dying. But like, someone should be on the point, and that someone, probably because Poor has died, is Burger. And then you rotate with, I'm looking at this comp, probably Moira, as like McCree and Farah try to keep people off of you. But you want to make sure that you have, because like the other thing is, if you look at the percentage, right, they're at 83, you're only at 31, you have to catch up to them. And because they have this point now, all they have to do is win one fight, and then you guys lose this map completely.
Then we got 5 ults. We can regroup.
Shit. Fuck. She was one hit.
Reaper, get out of here, my man.
I got him.
Heal Fara on the right, please.
Hey man, shatters, you just throw them out there. You keep trying. Eventually you'll hit a good one, That was a bad one. That's why we get them quickly,
Right, please.
At least I'm using them and not holding them.
Right, please. On the right, please.
Stop, please. Like, for one, he's bubbled, right? For one. And then even if he's not bubbled, he's fucking wall riding. Like, what is that gonna do?
We're just gonna let you VOD review yourself right now. Go
God.
go ahead.
Go nuts.
No, I'm done. I'm all out right now.
I mean, you get saved though.
I did.
This is a great fucking grab.
It's a bait. They thought it was safe. I made them think it was safe. All right.
Burger,
It's
we
all
beat
fun.
the shit out of you over the last map, and we kind of pick on you. I'm gonna pick on you on 1v1, but that's a really great grab.
That was a great grab, and that was a great barrage. It wasn't planned because it wasn't called, but it was lucky that you were both in position to take advantage of that combo, and also really good that you used the combo.
I thought I called it earlier though. I swear.
I think you did. We just used it a fight late.
Easy.
Yeah, he still held it because he ended up dying.
Freddie
Oh my
was
god,
like,
I thought I
I'm gonna
almost just
take.
I'm taking the victory. I called it.
My credit.
Take
Alright,
credit for
I went
whatever. Alright, go back. Did you just see what you did? Going back to this free look thing. Alright, look at that. You're easy with your shield. What are you doing?
Yeah. Remember, I gotta get in the habit of using free look.
And also, okay, you know what's lucky? Dong was on Anna up until this point. If she was still on Anna, that is the easiest fucking sleep in the world.
Yeah.
And then you just die.
I'm doing the cha-cha-cha right there.
Okay, that's fine.
There you go.
No.
They're going left. They're going left. Freddy, you're going left.
Yeah.
Sorry, no personal.
Thanks for the call out.
You have no personal. Back up.
Those calls are good.
I'm Orion that needs directions. So feel free to just tell me what's up.
Freddy, back up.
Yep, back it up.
Again, great call outs again.
Well, like, I'm gonna nitpicking again, and I think this is something you and Burger need to go over on your own time.
Like between the two of you.
Is like bubble usage, and like when he bubbles you, how you can get aggressive, or like if he's bubbling to help you retreat, and you need to like get ult charge for him. And then ×2 when you want to go aggressive, you should like be able to call for bubbles. Like Burger, when's bubble?
I don't do that enough. Yeah.
Yeah, like when in pro play or like very high level play, Ryan's always calls Zarya bubbles because they're the ones that are like taking the space and getting aggressive with it. So like when you're ready to get aggressive, you need to call for the bubble and then you need to push. But in this case, like it's fine because you guys are backing out. You guys are getting pressured. I'm glad you backed out as much as you did.
Yeah. But I guess the other thing, going back to the Zarya bubbles, it's like, if nothing else, if you call it for him now, allows him to get a feel for the way that you play Ryan and like the way that you time things and what you prefer. So like for example, like I played Zarya with Hash and like I don't play Zarya that much, but eventually he was like, that was too early. Like he kept like commenting on it, so I was like, all right, then you just tell me when you want it, and then it like it worked much better after that, right? Because then I knew what he was looking for, because they like he likes making charge plays, for example, in order to take space. So then because I know that now, like, or because he expressed that, you know, to like hold on to bubble until he charges, because that's the moment when he really, really needs it, right? Because there's like all these moments where your run gets low and you're like kind of concerned for him, so you bubble just to keep him alive. But actually the moment that he needs it, because he's trying to go for a play, is like 3 seconds after that, and then you won't have it at that point.
Way after the start.
Yeah, so I think it's like really important for like Ryan's and Zarya's, and I mean just like as like a main tank, off tank thing in general, right? So that he understands what kind of plays you like to make and what you're trying to do. And if you know that you're going to be doing something where you like require a bubble to help you, like let him know beforehand so that he's not burning it on something else.
That's gonna be your homework for you too, is playing some Ryan Zarya and you calling bubbles and him providing.
Yeah, and then also being aware that like obviously like if your Mercy needs to res like someone who's out of position and she needs the bubble, then you're not gonna have it.
Yeah, but like call for the cooldown first.
Yeah.
Yeah. There, I've assigned early homework for you.
Yay.
So good job backing out of this.
Shard shield.
He's gonna shatter. He's low.
This was the one where he got the shatter thing.
Moira half.
This is where you get solo grounds.
Oh yeah, I get solo
And
grounds.
then Hater bails the fuck out of you guys.
Which is great, by the way, that I get solo grab. I'm glad I'm the one.
Oh yeah.
You did, because you drew all of them onto point.
Your job as the tank is to.
My job is done.
Your job is done.
Your job is done.
Yeah, there's not really much of an
No,
analysis.
here we go.
Gator kills 4 of them, and you win.
They can push him hard.
Well, also they forgot
they're gonna
that
have
she
one
was like
fight
on the
after
thing and
this.
Hash was not paying attention, because he shouldn't have died to that.
Yeah.
I gotta learn how to make memes out of this, because I bet I could do some funny shit with this.
Yeah, that's less of like any misplays or anything on your guys' part, and more of like Hash misplaying and Cater taking advantage.
Huge advantage of that.
If we can, Tracer, use your ult.
We have a tracer.
Just.
Right here, you pause it right there, right?
Just
Pause.
No.
just kill.
No, I'm trying to meme it. Okay, pause. It's too late to apologize. It's
I just can't.
What's another? I'm trying to think of other memes.
I just can't.
Y'all are better.
Alright, so. Alright, not to make fun of you anymore. Yeah. This is a really good play, though. Like, this is smart.
The idea is fantastic, and because, and I think you remember this, hopefully, this is at least what part of what crossed your mind, right? Is like when we did that session with Spark, and he said the tanks that I'm afraid of are the ones that adapt. So it's like, Hash got you once. So you clearly thought about it, and you thought that's actually a great idea. I'm gonna hang out right here. And the best part is they do actually all walk past you without paying attention. The only problem is that you missed. But the idea.
When I had a shatter earlier, I wanted to do that, and I thought, wait a minute, let me save this.
Your brain was in the right spot.
Yeah.
Your mechanics failed you.
Oh my god, did they?
You
I just panicked because I saw it and I was like, "This, no way, it's gonna be this easy."
You were so excited.
You were so excited.
You were a little too excited. You blew.
It was like cupcake, no, and I took a bite of a brick. Shattered on.
Oh, I'm down.
Guardian Angel.
Fuck.
I wanna know how
Tags with a carry.
The literal miracle tags and dragon carry.
Good
I set him up.
Again, going back to the last point, you two can test as pharmacy.
I'm going hamster to get back.
Like, look at Tegs is like at the exact distance that he needs to be.
Keep it cool. It's
to
okay.
be
We got this, guys. We got this.
in the sky, but close enough to contest and make it just that, make it just that much harder for them to kill him.
Nice. Good.
Like that positioning is like fucking god tier.
It's insane. Actually insane.
That was really good.
Thank you.
We might as well like make you two play pharmacy the entire time because that's like the best I've seen like this team.
I am done.
Well, no, but see, then they play pharmacy the next pack.
Oh yeah, then you guys play pharmacy the
and
next pack, and you get dumped on.
By
By the way, fun fact. This is the only time you guys have played a Reinhardt and won a map or like won a point.
I mean, okay, you've only had 2 scrims, but still.
Hey man, I practice. Just saying.
Alright, I need to change this real quick for the last point.
Oh yeah, we need to change the video.
Skirt.
Alright, so the next map, it works a little less well.
Yeah.
We were coming down off that high of winning two.
I was told earlier
exciting. So that's what I attribute that to.
Everyone was cocky.
Yeah. And then we all of a sudden wanted to switch it up randomly. And I should have said something, but I wanted to play along.
I mean, it's not a bad idea, honestly.
And that's what scrims are for. Ignore like what I said about it earlier. Like, this is exactly what scrims are for.
But I will say though, if you're gonna run, okay, so here's what I'm gonna say for triple tank dive, it's great, but
going back here.
Like, so Cater says it really early actually in this fight. At one point, so they're running Pharah Widow, right? So actually, the triple tank against the Widow is kind of great because that's one less hero that she gets like an immediate one shot on, right? And also you have that many more heroes that can contest her and make her life hard.
Okay. Burger, you gotta jump in.
Cater calls this really early where she says, we don't have anything
when
for
you jump in
Pharah,
pile
and
driver,
she switches
dive,
off Diva.
but you gotta stay back.
We'll get to that point.
You gotta switch strike when we pile drive and dive, okay?
Alright, I'm going this way.
But Burger, you gotta call it out.
Yeah.
We're not with you,
Wait for our Anna. Our Anna got Wade pushed back.
Going on
Shutting.
Diva.
Yep.
Push it.
Diving tanks is always kind of a feels bad, but go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, so Dragon knows what's about to happen here.
I felt it.
Do you guys hear that sound? Even if you don't see her and you don't have tab yet, do you hear that sound? Like, what did you just hear as you guys were going in?
Didn't hear.
Diva!
Gotta wait.
You might need to go back a little bit further.
Are you talking about the glitter shot?
Yep.
Going on
Shutting.
Diva.
Yep.
There, right there. Did you hear it?
No.
Okay.
Didn't hear it all.
I think it might be hard because they're in this scrum right here.
Yeah.
Diva!
Gotta wait.
Out.
Widow got him.
Diva, cheesy diva.
We don't have a hit
Ouch.
scan on
Wait,
this.
there's a first
Pharah.
responders.
So, Dragon, you should call out that you died a widow.
I swear to you I did, but my mic is too low. You can just barely hear me if you listen really close to this recording.
I didn't catch it.
Oh no, I'm not down that you didn't say.
Can you guys be quiet real quick?
Get away.
Widow got him.
Wow,
Widow
that
got
is very, very faint.
low. Yeah, so it's like, even if you didn't say, like, Burger also dies to widow. So, like, one of you should say something.
We don't have a hit scan on
Wait,
this.
there's a
Pharah.
first responders.
Okay, so
Wait,
here's
yeah,
another
Lucy.
thing. Let me pause.
Okay, get there.
So, two of you just died a widow, right? But Cater's worried about the Pharah, and Cater just says, we don't have a hit scan on the Pharah. Well, actually, guess what? Diva's a hit scan.
You got two things that take care of this, Farrah. One is you.
Yeah, one is Anna.
The other one's Anna.
So, Dragon, I know, like, you probably wouldn't want us relying on, like, your hit scan ability in order to take care of Pharah, but technically, like, you know, you've got sleep. Like, you have a kit that can help deal with her. And then, honestly, with this comp, like, Diva is really good against Pharah. Because you can eat the damage that the pharmacy is putting out.
So, like, this comp actually kind of frees up Diva a little bit because the hamster's going to be the one engaging, and then the Winston's going to be the one following up. It lets Diva roam a little bit more and do more protecting. So, like, you can kind of, like, stick onto, like, the Pharah a little bit and, like, eat rockets, pressure her. Hopefully, like, if Dragon hits some shots, like, he pressures her too. Like, as long as you're, like, taking pot shots at her and like,
back out. Yeah.
making sure the area she's occupying is not safe, then, like, you can very much deal with the Pharah.
Also, going back
I'm diving that back
to
line.
the worth of like staying on Diva in this like triple tank comp, right? Is that going back to Widow, it also frees. So it's like either you can help Winston or Hamster can help Winston, and one of you can be dealing with Widow. And honestly, like, Burger, in my honest opinion, Hamster was basically made to be anti-sniper, because when you're in a ball, they can't hit a headshot on you. They can only hit body shots because you don't have a head. And what that means is, like, with the speed that you have and your shields and your, like, super powerful guns that, like, in close range just, like, delete targets, like, you can chase her down and she can't do shit about it. Like, you destroy Widowmakers. And especially ones that position on the ground in this, like, really dumb area where she's, like, she should be free food for you.
And even if you're not comfortable with that too, like, you can delegate that task. Like, yeah. Winston is also very good at, like, dealing with widows, and so is Diva. So, like, you could say, like, all right, we're gonna have Cater on Diva. She's gonna, like, watch the Pharah. We're gonna have Freddy go after the Widow, and then Burger. What you can do, you can, like, find a point where the tanks are coming in, and you, like, pendulum, and you're just knocking tanks out of the way. So, like, if they want to take a space, too bad. They get, like, thrown. They just get pushed.
So I think,
suck cooldowns.
Yeah. So, like, I think part of the trick to running these, like, diverse comps or, like, unconventional comps is, like, so even though you have 3 tanks, that means that 2 of you are going to be splitting this duty, or, like, I mean, really all of you, right, are going to be splitting this duty of doing the damage that you typically would get out of a DPS, right? So, you can definitely do that, and I think we've all seen that it works, and it can work incredibly well. So, like, but the thing is, like, you do need to figure out, kind of like Coolpub was saying, like, you need to understand who is handling which piece, who's going to be focusing and tanking, like, which DPS, and then what are the rest, like, and then, you know, that would free the rest of the team up, right? So, like, maybe Genji and Burger, or, like, Genji and Pores are the ones who focus Widow, and then Cater and Burger focus Pharah, and, like, you know what I mean? It's like, you can take care of everything that they have on their team, and even in that initial dive, you see how low they got. Like, you have the damage output. You just need to figure out who's dealing with which, like, random threats. We've given the cat a box.
Oh shit.
And hopefully it entertains him.
Cat box.
Exactly.
No, cat box is something different.
That might be too small for him, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, good effort.
This is a comp that I would like to see.
He's still into the box.
I think it's a good comp.
But anyway, yeah, I do think that this is a comp worth practicing, but like I said, like, you just have to figure out, A, what else you want to run it with. Like, is it a Genji and a Moira and an Anna, or do you have a Lucio in there instead?
I think Lucio instead of Moira would be the better pick.
Like, and I think that'll change depending on the map that you're playing it on. But like, also, like I said, like, if you're running this like kind of solo DPS comp, you have to figure out between all three tanks then, like, which of you is tanking what, so that like you're splitting up the responsibility and you're still taking care of the threats that are facing your team.
Nice.
We don't have anything for their Pharah still.
Kate, go.
I have 75 to Diva. Should I swap?
No, wait, I thought I healed you.
Should I swap?
You can swap.
Jeez, freaking Crockett.
Yeah, you're gonna swap. Wrecking us right now.
I don't know why we went 3 tanks with.
This is it's a good comp. It works.
With an Ana who doesn't play Ana.
Usage call.
Alright, Cater, I'm gonna call you out for counter calling Pores on the comp decision. If you're not comfortable on Diva, that's fine. But at the same time, honestly, for Dragon, like, even if he's not used to playing Ana, hitting 3 tanks is a lot easier than hitting it like 2 tanks in a DPS.
Just in general, you shouldn't be like, if this is a plan.
Don't argue.
Don't argue about it.
Team.
Like,
Talk
you're gonna go with
afterwards.
the plan.
Yeah.
Talk about it after a match, after a scrim. Don't bring discourse into a game.
Yeah, because it confuses people, and then also, like, see, now Burger's stuck, like, on Hammond when he really needs to be on Diva, and now you don't have a Diva when you really need one. So, like, all of those things kind of cause issues, and kind of like you were saying, like, you were 80% of the way to bomb, and, like, you might have been able to catch the pharmacy with it. Like, that's actually that's, like, relatively easy to do with, like, a Diva bomb, right? And then also, again, they have this Widow, and so, like, now on McCree, you're gonna need hella pocketing, which means that Tegs and Pores aren't gonna get it. You're missing Matrix because Hammond doesn't have anything that really protects the team. So all you have protection is the geometry of the map and Winston Barrier, which is gonna go down super fast because Panna has, like, a Mercy Pocket. And then you're a DPS that needs pocketing, Tegs is a DPS that needs pocketing, and you've got 2 main healers, but it just, like, splits their resources in a lot of different directions. And, like, honestly, now you don't have enough, like, defensive resources, in my opinion.
No, let me live.
Going back to the whole, like, stalling the point.
We gotta
You're, like,
really weird
amazing
comp.
at stalling the point. You live forever.
Alright, I got my own.
And then also one of the, well, okay, we'll get there.
Come a little bit closer.
I'm coming.
Yep, we're coming.
Alright, let's go main.
Still the same plan. You gotta leave
I'm gonna
the
jump
charge.
high ground. I'm gonna jump high ground. 3, 2, 1.
Nope.
Oh, nope. Backing out.
Now what you
So, alright. One thing I will say, so Widow's killed, like, someone every single fight already this map, and she's died, I think, 0 times, actually. I don't think she's died at all yet. So, given that she keeps picking people, A, no one's called out yet that she's a threat, because you're also focused on the pharmacy, and B, no one's called out her position this entire game. So I feel like, in my opinion, it's leading to more people getting shot than need to be, because, like, you're not respecting her line of sight at all as a team. So she's just getting, like, easy picks on your squishies because, like, no one knows where she is, and, like, when you die, no one's calling her position.
Nose rub for that one.
That's twice.
You go, like, real fast. You gotta wait till we're right there.
The fight.
I mean, like, on top of that, too, like, think about how you can approach that minimizes, like, a Widowmaker's sightline. Like, going into hallway is kind of hard because, like, they have the pharmacy, but you can also, like, go underneath.
But the thing is, like, if you go in, like, the mini, like, the under, oh, you're talking about this hallway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or, like, going back
I
under
was
there.
I was thinking about the back hallway under where it's, like, a little room and it's, like, Farrah can spam into it, but she would also kind of need to be in range to do that.
Yeah, like there's an overhang there, so she has to commit a lot of herself to
and
like
it's a lot
contesting that.
And then like you guys can kill her easy.
Yeah. Think about, we meant to go on this tangent too during Watch Point where like the healers were all the way in the back, and we wanted you guys to go through server room and go all the way around, because that's an easy way for you to not blow cooldowns and take high ground. But yeah, things like that, especially when there's something oppressive like a Widowmaker or something that's a threat and you can't approach it directly. Always think about other paths of getting there.
And also, it's like, okay, one other thing too is like if you look at their comp, it's really similar to your comp, right? They're also running 2 DPS that require a lot of pocketing, and then you also know Mercy is basically going to be attached to Pharah, like, this entire game. So that means Moira has to deal with Diva, Winston, and a Widow, and it's like the same thing that we called out last map, right? None of those things really want to play together, because Widow wants to be, like, long range, and Winston and Diva want to be, like, in the thick of it, doing stuff and moving around. So, like, at some point, one of those things is not going to have, like, a strong support, like, backline to help them. And, like, that's when you're going for them, right? So it's, like, again, going back to making sure you're delegating as a team and deciding, like, all right, who's going in on what? Who is the dive target here? What do we need to deal with first? And I think that planning kind of falls apart a little bit because, like, a lot of it because, like, someone keeps getting picked really early by the Widowmaker.
Which one of just go standard bad things? So we'll go.
Yeah. After this, because I got all. Okay, let's go this way with me.
They have walls.
Alright, ready? 3, 2, 1.
Alright, so
Going high ground.
You just said they have walls, and now you're calling a dive. What is the thought process behind that? I mean, I think Moon was the one that called it, so he's not here to like talk through what he was thinking. But like
they have walls, and you're trying to approach from like an area where you have no sight, but they have 100% vision on what you're doing. They're perfectly like already prepared to like counter dive you. And
like someone's gonna get shot.
Yeah.
Like there's no way around that, right? Like someone's just gonna get shot. So I like, for me, I kind of feel like the takeaway here is like, you have to respect this Widow, because this Widow is getting kills and she's doing work, but for some reason, as a team, you're not really respecting her positioning, her abilities, or her sightlines, and it's like resulting in people getting picked, and like which results in you guys losing fights.
Got Diva.
Our supports are gonna.
Their Widow's back left.
Sparks getting ooped in the back line. Winston, stop it! Winston.
Did not mean to fan the hammer.
That was a nice primal kill on the far.
Yeah, we're regrouping.
Unfortunately, got res.
Yeah.
Okay, that works too.
We can nano blade here.
Okay, I'm going Diva.
I'm gonna go right.
Stupidity is not right.
That's gonna be really risky for you because you have like no mobility.
Huh?
Cater, what are you doing?
They're
Come back
no,
up the
they're okay. Their Moira keeps going back here, and I thought I could grab her without you guys.
We need to.
First of all,
Yeah, cluttering comms.
Push in. 3,
You don't need to explain
1,
yourself.
push.
But also,
I'm Moira.
flank plays on McCree in like team games is very, very difficult to pull off.
This is very easy solo queue stuff, but like in an organized setting like this, that's so much harder.
And also, like you need support on McCree. Like you just do. Like McCree is one of those heroes. You're a squishy.
Yep.
Where's one? No fade.
Mercy half, Mercy
I got
low.
you. Get her. Help her, Anna. Help her, Anna.
What? Oh, fuck.
I got the secret. Damn it.
That's the thing now. Yeah, that's what the caption literally says, Jess.
Am I switching to Lucio just to get back to point faster?
Can't get to it. Can't get to it.
Yeah.
Alright, so any thoughts from you guys on like how things could have gone differently?
We're ending it on a downer, but I'm very curious.
Attack the Widow. None of us like really had an actual plan, like period. But that Widow was like the freest Widow of all time.
Yeah, it seemed like most of this map was a lot of calm noise with no actual plan or several concurrent plans.
We're also like riding off of the high of the 2 wins, and we totally just relaxed on this one. No sense of urgency.
Alright. And again, all the way back first VOD review, identifying a problem and figuring out the solution for it. Like, this Widow was a significant problem. Killed multiple people. She ate a ton of time off your clock.
And then honestly, like the Pharah got value because of the Widow. Like Panda really only gets one ult that fight, but Widow was like making it hard for you guys to push and getting a lot more picks, honestly.
And like that entire time, like the first fight, she barrages and kills too, but she literally had only like poked from that point. She hadn't like done significant damage. She hadn't like killed anything. She just got barrage quickly because of the mercy pocket, and then just got 2 when it was already a 4v2 or a 4v6.
Yeah.
I guess it was like a 5v4 after that. They were up at the end of the day.
You could have just ignored them. The pharmacy.
Not ignore.
Like obviously not completely ignore, but like too much.
Back to kind of what I was saying too is like I honestly feel like you guys had a harder time after Kater swapped to McCree than if she had just stayed on Diva. Like I actually feel like you guys might have been able to flip the map a lot sooner and keep it if you had if you had kept the triple tank, or just had Burger dump mines and go Diva sooner.
Yeah, I think I even asked him about a swap, and he said like after the mines.
I think too, like the thing about ults, I think especially on Koth is like, unless it's an ult that you like need to win, which in this case it's like if he uses mines, great. Like who's he gonna hit? Pharmacy's in the sky. Winston and Diva can jump out. Moira can fade out. Widow. Unless you pile drive and dump them on her and solo ult her, like, Widow's got grappling hook. You know, like, what is he really going to be able to accomplish with mines? Because, like, this point is big enough that he can drop them and they can just avoid them while still contesting. So, like, it's like, you really have to think about and balance, like, the worth of the ult that you're holding onto and, like, what you're going to get if you swap, which is a Widow counter, a Pharah counter, you know? Diva Bomb, which actually it has bigger range on this point than mines do. I want to say the only kinds of ults that you might want to like think a bit about would be like Transcendence or like Beat, because they actually have the ability to like swing fights and negate the power of like other ultimates that come in from the other team. But outside of that, honestly, there are very few ults I feel that are like worth holding onto at the risk of losing the game.
But at the end of it, you guys did pretty well. Very well. Much better than week 1, that's for sure. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and I think like walking through this too, hopefully like you guys are having an easier time seeing like where things are going wrong, and like what you would do differently. And it's just like kind of bring that into your play moving forward.
Yeah, and it's not like it's different things that happen every time. It's like almost the same small things. It's just a matter of like eventually recognizing that in a live setting.
Yeah.
And avoiding that.
Or like reacting faster.
I will say when you guys play like Winston Diva comps, you guys are much better. Which is kind of ass backwards in a way. But
He used to have trouble with diving.
your dive is like way cleaner
Yeah.
than your Ryan
But
comps
honestly,
are.
I think it's a function
That's
of
typical
like,
for me.
I think it's like Pors is more comfortable on Winston, Burger's more comfortable on Diva. We've got pretty strong dive DPS. Cater's like picking like Cater, by the way, your Sombra and like
Yeah.
sometimes
Yeah.
you make some weird decisions, but like overall, like I feel like your play has already improved hugely for the last 2 weeks.
I 100% agree.
So homework.
Homework?
Well,
Do we?
so
Actually, no, we do have homework.
Well,
we're gonna tell you which heroes to grind this time.
yeah. So I said Freddy and Burger, for you two, you need to work on your tank synergy, especially with Ryan Zarya. You calling for bubble cooldowns and all of that fun stuff.
And I know this is backwards from what I keep saying, but I would say even play Ryan Zarya even if it's on maps where they suck, so that you really understand the limitations. Like it's like kind of prepare yourselves to lose in a way, but like play so that you're learning the limitations of the roles like of these heroes, so that like when you're facing Ryans and Zaryas, you know how to take advantage of them, and then also how to defend against like dive tanks who have high ground advantage that you can't get to, and things like that. Yeah, so that's for you guys. I said Moon, Grind, Anna.
Yeah, there's a lot of reliance still on playing Moira, and I really want you to break that.
Yeah, because like Moira, I think you've got it down. But like we said, like your mechanics on Anna are pretty good. So just like, or like your mechanics in general are pretty good. So like, I would say Anna is like a really key support to learn right now. Because Anna absolutely swings fights. So
you can do this too, Dragon, if you want.
Yeah. So I would say pick between Lucio or Anna. I'm not sure what you would prefer or what feels better for you. Since like there are 3 supports, so you kind of get the wild card, and also because you're about to have a kid, so
yeah,
we figured we'd give you some freedom.
And feel free to pick a non-mercy support.
Yeah.
And feel free to just play around.
But preferably Lucio or Anna.
I think my Lucio is already pretty strong. It's really, I think, Anna and Brig that I need to work on more.
All right.
I think then focus on Anna for now. I'll try to have some Lucio notes for you. But yeah, sounds good.
Okay.
Tags
and Cater.
Tags and Cater is kind of hard because, like we said, you guys popped off and carried a lot of Oasis.
I would say Cater, keep working on Tracer and Sombra. Like, you're already seeing huge gains from doing it.
For you, especially on Sombra, learn to, when you're scouting, you're doing a very great job of scouting, go further. Like, find everybody. And definitely learn parts of the map, like server room, and going back through server room on watch
and
point.
Take advantage of using Translocator as a mobility option as well as an out. And like I said, like it definitely takes some getting used to. You'll have to figure out like the best spots and stuff, and I would definitely recommend like watching a lot of Sombra players. So like I say Fitzy because he's really like he's who I follow, and like also I think one of the more well-known like Sombra quote-unquote one tricks. But
Dante's another good one.
Yeah, Dante plays a lot of Sombra.
Shore
4 plays a ton of Sombra right now. And just like watch them understand like the decision making and like see where like how they're using Translocator and the different things that you can do with it, because it is an incredibly versatile tool.
I think if we want to TLDR this a little bit, you actually probably need to learn maps a little bit better.
Yeah.
Like
actually,
get either some top-down views or just like go by yourself into custom games and like just move around a map and like learn health packs, learn flank routes. Like actually legit, you've played these maps hundreds of times, but just like learn how to get to places, like say like the main way is blocked.
Like efficiently, yeah.
Like how can I get to here in an efficient manner if I'm not allowed to like take the main way there?
Yeah. And then yeah. So tags, what do you want to work on actually? What do you feel like you should work on?
Honestly, I feel like my is lacking like a lot. So
say one more time. You lagged out.
Oh, my Genji is like, I don't know. I just feel like I'm not doing what I should be doing.
This week for you then, Genji and Junkrat.
Okay, yeah. Sounds good.
Cool.
Cool.
Who else were we missing? Elysium wasn't here.
Elysian, I gave him Lucio.
Lucio? Alright. I feel like we're missing someone. I don't think we are, though.
I think, yeah, because we covered both tanks together.
Yeah.
Can somebody make a message in the Discord and pin it? This will be like a mini homework. It's like 6-stack QP like team every once in a while, you know, maybe once a week if possible.
It's really hard for you guys just because
Your schedule
we're
is really-
literally getting you scrim time on the only day you're all available.
Yeah. But I think like even if you can 5-stack or like 4-stack or whatever,
exactly.
like just kind of make a point of playing with each other.
Yeah. I'm
I
not
think
saying you all have to like always play Overwatch, always play with each other, but like at least make the effort to group up a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe post a poll to see if there's a day that anybody, whatever days you're available.
Well, like people are always online, right? Like almost every day, someone on our team is playing Overwatch.
Just at different times.
Just at different times, but like.
I think I have still yet to play with Elysian because our hours don't match. He's like glob all over again.
It is glob all over again.
That is like literally why we became West, by the way, was because originally we were all one team on East, but me and the other support, who were both Lucio mains, literally didn't have the same time range. So we were like, this is not gonna work.
Yeah.
But anyway, history aside. So those are your assignments for the week, and really great improvement. You know, keep working on the comms, keep working on like the decision making, and like I mean, I think you guys are already starting to see the fruits of like really, really strong play.
And like seeing everything back and having us nitpick you a little bit and bully you, but like you're seeing these things, and there's like I said, there's a remarkable improvement from this week from 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, for sure. So I think keep the momentum going. Like, don't feel down about like mistakes and stuff. And also, like, you know, I think it's good that you guys are kind of catching yourselves making mistakes in game, but also like you're gonna die, right? Like that's the game. Don't. I think this is mostly catered, but like don't feel the need to like apologize every time for making mistakes. Just like recognize that they are mistakes and do your best to not make that mistake again.
All right. Any questions, comments, concerns?
Nope.
I'm Gucci.
Time, guys. Thanks for hanging out for so long.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. See you around.
Later, guys.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.